Hey everyone, welcome to our first ranking show of the summer here. We're joined by a couple goalie union members here, Matthew Hertz and Ryan Chunera, joined by my co-host Cody Stevens and Nick Levine. I'm your host Kirby Lupel. Before we do get into our own tier ranker system here at the Cats and Rats consensus rankings, we're going to go over the J-Fresh rankings that were recently released. Again, we're going to just follow this as like a soft guide. We'll get into kind of the parameters of how we want to rank our charts here, but let's just go over this first, gentlemen, for 5-10 minutes here, and welcome everyone here into our live chat audience here as well. Cody, Nick, where do you want to start here from the top?
We did episodes like this last year with the defensemen, and then earlier in the year with the tier ranking. So I'll just kind of take it away from here, the J-Fresh. Not much change at the top from what you would expect. The biggest riser really in the top five is Sergei Bobrovsky. Was kind of on the outside looking in a bit last year. In 2023 was 10, 2024 was 7. Now he's 4. My initial thoughts, there's not really much you can argue here. I mean, you can have your matter of opinion on to swap a guy here or there, which we'll talk about later, but I think it's pretty spot on, especially at the top. Those are the 4 guys we're going to be talking about that might be interchangeable later on.
Yeah. No, I can make my first argument probably somewhere around that 10 to 12 range there.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Is one that stands out to me. We'll get to.
I'd even argue 8, but we'll leave that for later.
What do you guys see after the top?
I'd argue 2.
Oh, okay.
I'd argue
Jake Ottinger's I'd argue 2 too.
Where's under is probably where I put him, right about there, yeah.
I might move him with maybe Sorokin, maybe just 1 down.
And then after that top 3-4 names, which we're going to get into in a minute, guys, then we get into that elite category. So those names there from 4 down into that maybe 10-12 range, that's probably going to be where the next tier is. So,
and our ranking is going to be based off not just performance, but whole body of work, right? So it's going to be a lot of things considered, not just playoffs, but we'd probably say around 80% regular season, 20% playoffs, maybe 25-30%, but
if you're going to go higher than that, Nick, that's a little too high for playoff pedigree. And I know you guys, most of you are Panther fans here that are listening, especially to our initial ranking show here. You can't just weigh everything on the playoffs.
And if you do, then Andrei Vasilevsky would be number 1 right here. So, I mean, we'll obviously discuss it. But again, the top 4, I mean, it's interchangeable for me at some certain points there. Further down is where I start to see some issues. In my opinion, there's a question of, okay, is that just a good year or a bad year? Or what about the team they're on? I don't have a problem with 5 through 7. 8, for me, that's a little high for Ullmark. I'm just not the biggest Ullmark fan. Thatcher Demko, I said this to you earlier, Kirby, I think could be in the top 5, even the top 3. But the biggest question for me is his health. So,
I want you guys just to listen to all these names here. So you guys are going to be well, you guys aren't going to get this perfect. No, we're going to have L's, Ryan, Matthew. We're going to have a lot here. But listen to the L's last year from the J-Fresh fan poll. Again, this is 2,000, 3,000 fans surveyed here. Last year, they had Swayman at number 4, way too high. They had Bob at 7, way too low. Hill at 12, Freddie Anderson at 13, Stuart Skinner at 14, UPL at 17, Varlamov at 19, Charlie Lindgren at 21. Sorry, I missed one here. Georgiev at 18 and Jari at 22. So those are the 7-8 L's from the fan poll.
Also had Georgiev at 18, I believe. So
and Georgiev fell all the way to 61.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So look at the big difference, guys, from just those names there, from the top all the way down.
Before we begin, I think the one name I think is underrated on this list, me personally, I think it's Jordan Binnington.
Yes,
I agree with you there, Cody.
But hold on a second here. Halfway through the season last year, you guys, Ryan, can you step in?
Oh yeah,
Canada doesn't
have a goalie. They all said Binnington sucks. That's all I heard.
Yeah, they would have had him 30 or 40.
All right, 30 or 40 is crazy. No one had him that low.
There was people calling for Hofer should be started.
Mm-hmm. I remember 30. Okay, maybe 40 is a little too far, Cody.
I think
I think
Bennington.
30's too far. Who the hell had him 30?
Well, everyone
all
last year
over.
before going into
I think Bennington, again, when we talk about, like Kirby, we're just talking about the 80-20, 70-30 rule for playoffs, regular season.
Yeah.
You could argue that affects Bennington probably the most out of anybody.
the positive because of Four Nations, the playoff.
Yes, because I think on a heater, there are very few goalies better when they're on a heater than Jordan
Forget
Bennington.
that. In a winner-take-all game, I don't think there's 3 guys I'd take over Bennington.
And in a big game, Jordan Bennington, he's top 3. I mean, there's only a handful of guys I'd maybe pick. He's right up there. So
Him,
I think when he's
I'd put him in top 3 in game.
yeah,
in
I'd
game
probably say
series
him,
clinchers.
Bob, and Vasi.
All right, that's a little crazy. I can't lie.
but when he's locked in, Cody, I mean,
I know,
He
but
is.
I'm not taking. But locked in, I'm not taking.
that's the
him,
problem. It's
I'm-
inconsistency.
Yeah, but with that thing, I'm not taking him locked in game clincher. I'm taking Bob, Shesterkin, and Vasi over him.
I
Those are
don't
three
think
guys.
I don't think he's top 10, but I think he's a middle of the pack goalie who's a big time. He's a gamer, as I think a term you could use for him.
He
And
I mean,
battled.
the way he played in the Four Nations speaks for itself.
Very impressive. He had some scrutiny early on in that tournament. Aiden Hill, who we're going to talk about later, who I'm not a huge fan of. There were talks of him potentially getting the net. Kirby Cody in our Four Nations roster predictions, you two had Skinner, Hill, and Bennington. I had Bennington, Montembeault, and Hill. And I think
We all had Bennington as a starter, I believe.
Yeah.
We had Bennington start.
I don't think many people had him not as the starter.
Yeah, no, he was.
Oh, there was people that had Aiden Hill, right?
He
Ryan?
was
Yeah,
there were some
Canada's.
people. Excuse me if I'm wrong. Were there not some people saying if Skinner gets off to like a good start, like that it was that was going to
I
happen?
think there was more Aiden Hill, then probably Bennington, then Skinner.
I think
And then
Skinner.
there was. Go ahead.
I think
and
Skinner had a chance because of the Cup final last year. He did play relatively well. It wasn't like this year where he got the doors blown off of him, because then again the Panthers blew the doors off every goalie they faced. But
And now there's some new. Just talk about Four Nations here. There are new kind of goaltenders that could become options for Team Canada. Joey Decourt. I know he's born in America, I believe, but wouldn't he be a potential
he
Team Canada
could.
option with the birth
Yeah.
certificate?
Well,
thing?
he played with the
That's-
States in the IHF thing, so I
Yeah.
think
So he's not allowed. Okay, I thought there was talk of him
Yeah.
joining.
You know what's funny? It's like
Switzerland as well. I think.
Okay, and
right-
Mackenzie Blackwood would be another option.
I know.
What
I
about,
think
what about Logan Thompson?
Yeah.
He had a great year in Washington.
you know what? Give me
Like,
give me this. No, give me this guy over Logan thing. Give me Darcy Kemper. Like you want to talk about a guy winning time? Kemper's won a cup here, and
Colorado,
and Thompson is probably top 3 reasons why Washington got bounced at 5 versus Carolina.
Darcy Kemper, 2.02 goals against average.
Phenomenal this year.
Buck last year.
Yeah, I
Finished
think
third in Vezina voting, right?
I think when you take a look at Darcy Kemper, not to take anything away from him, I think he's a very good goaltender. I think a bit overrated. He's been on some very good teams, especially with good defenses and structure in front of him. You take a look at what he did for LA this year. I mean, they're coming off a year where Cam Talbot played pretty well for them, right? I mean, he was a 50-game starter, kind of pulled that out of his ass, right? So, I mean, they can turn, good goaltenders and make them look a lot better. I think they have a very structured system in front. And I think that's it's went well for LA the last 2 years, but I think it's more a product of the system. He got nominated for a Vezina this year, but I don't think he's that.
This is where I push back. LA's structure and defense this postseason for them went away completely. Kemper was the main reason why they were still in the damn series. But then, Jim Hiller kind of threw that away into the damn trash can.
Yeah, I think he's a very good goalie, but there are some guys I think I'd rather take above him. I used to really like Kemper when he was in Arizona, and then when he went to Colorado. How he played in Washington a bit, concerning to say the least. I actually thought, going a little off topic here, Darcy Kemper should have been the guy that the Edmonton Oilers should have went after, but I think there was some problems there.
I heard they tried or something, but I think he had some no movement or something in his contract. I don't think he wanted to go to Edmonton.
So I think Darcy Kemper, very good option. I think he could be a tad bit too high. I like some of the upside on some of the other goalies below him on this list, but I think right there. I think what you're going to find a lot as we do our tier maker here is that it's not necessarily
We can't rank upside though. We got to rank what they
Hey,
are
hold on.
now.
And I think the whole body of
I agree with you, Cody. I'm not looking into the future.
Okay,
I'm
can I
looking
just
how
finish my
I'm
point?
looking at what
Matthew,
they perform.
let me finish my point. Some of the tier ranking things here, I think it's going to be more of a reflection of, okay, me liking some other goaltenders just more than them. It's not like, okay, this guy's in this tier because he's, like, I don't like him. I think he's a very good goalie, but I think there are other guys who are better than him, and that's kind of this where they slot in and fall to.
Goalies are hard as hell to rank. So,
and they're also, I know, Kirby, you don't love to hear this, but the term is voodoo or volatile, whatever term you want to use. It could very much be year to year. And then this past year, you saw the save percentages. Kirby, we talked about it all year. Save percentages were down across the NHL. So I think this is an interesting part.
Before we jump in here, I just want to mention names that we're not going to get to. Jet Greaves last 20 games, he was a top 6 goalie in the NHL by stats. So again, he's probably not going to make this list. It'll be interesting if he can continue forward with that. Tarasov, the new Panther goalie, Vanacek, the former Panther goalie, they had similar stats in the last 20 games, goals allowed and goals saved above expected. So I thought that was interesting. So there's some of those names there at the bottom that we're not going to quite get into. We'll mention as honorable mentions as we go along. Guys, before we start here, Cody, I'll start first. I'm going to evaluate these goalies by games plays. Horses for courses. Guys that play big amount of games, I'm ranking them higher than other guys that are comparable to them. If you're playing 50-plus games, I'm ranking them high. There was 22 goalies last year that played 50 games or more. There was 10 goalies with 30 wins. Cody?
For me, I'm going to take that into account, but for me, this is a tier for the last 3 years. I think 3 years is a really good time frame kind of rank these guys.
But we're also ranking to go forward into next season as well.
But I can't. Yeah, that's going forward. But But here's the thing: with young goalies, I'm not ranking on upside. I'm ranking what they are right now, not what they can be. What they are right now.
Yeah. But I'm going to favor a guy better going into 25, 26 season than what he did 3 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm taking all that into account.
Yep, that's fair. Nick?
Yeah, I think similar to you, I think games played is a big part of it. I mean, determining there's difference between starter, 1A, 1B. I also think the 3-year time frame can be good for certain parts. There's guys who have just started playing 50 games or before. They haven't really had a lot of that. I'll say this. There's going to be a lot of goalies here that have a pedigree of some certain extent, but I don't necessarily think that's indicative of who they are fully as a goalie, bad or good. That it could be just the right circumstances at the right time with certain things. I'll go more into detail about that when we get to him later, but I have a guy in mind for that. So let's get started here.
Ryan? Yeah, well, Ryan and Matthew, I want you guys to add your points too. Cody, we don't have at the top there, do we? Or am I not seeing top 3?
Oh, I just put elite.
We're going top 3. So can we add that? Or we cannot do that now. Top 3 and then elite, Cody. So we have 6 categories.
And then did we do mid or was it above mid before?
Did you not give them that, Matthew?
I did, 3, I thought.
Above average, mid. We got 6 categories because the top 3 is going to make this interesting. Ryan, Matthew, before we start, how are you evaluating your list?
I'm looking definitely at what they do in the last 3 years because I feel like what Nick was saying, where goalies are volatile, you can't just overreact to 1 year. But I also agree with you, Kirby. It's like I value a guy playing 50 games over a goalie who has better stats in 20 games because part of playing goalie is your endurance, how consistent you can be putting up these numbers. Because we've seen goalies like Andrew Hammond play 20 games or 30 games and go crazy. Where is he now? Like he didn't do anything.
We're not ranking like Keith Kincaid's here. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's what you get my point though. It's like anyone can go on a miracle run as a goalie. I think you
because Twitter would be going crazy about Andrew Hammond right now, Ryan. If this was the case going into next, right?
But that's just an example. Nothing against him personally.
Yeah, Matthew.
I always tend to use, I guess, 3 years, but I do put a little bit more weight on playoff performance, just because the type of goalie you need to be in the playoffs and win in the playoffs is much different than you need to be to win in the regular season. So I know we said 80-20 for my own rankings, for my own opinion. I do place a little bit more weight on the playoffs. I would probably say maybe 60% regular
That's
season.
too much.
That's a lot. That's
Okay,
a
then
lot.
Stolar's
I
gotta
just,
be
it's
it.
it just
You're
takes
You're
it
gonna be
takes
butting
it takes
heads
a
with us.
different type of.
Butting heads with us on this.
I
It
hate
just
to
takes a
say it
different
like
type of
this.
goal. It takes a different type of goalie though to win in the playoffs, as we've seen.
Well,
So,
then why? So then, hold on. Carey
about Aiden Hill?
Price and Henrik Lundqvist, they don't have cups.
playoff.
I mean, Carey Price to me, there's no goalie. Cody, I think you'd agree with it. No goalie today comes close to prime Carey Price for me.
No, because that's like
No,
Hellebuck's
I
a
can agree
close
with that.
second.
And
Hellebuck is close.
Or
but-
then
Matthew, are you
Bassey.
doing that as a Panther fan, or are you doing that as a fan of all goalies? Because then Darcy Kemper and Aiden Hill are going to shoot way up your list, and they're not shooting way up my list.
Well,
I-
kind of think. Oh, go ahead, Matthew.
To answer the question, I think for those type of guys, they did win cups, but the way that they performed in the playoffs, I mean, Aiden Hill received a crazy contract, and I was a person who said, he's an AHL guy, and
That's
just because
crazy.
he won a cup, he's going to be what I said it on Spaces on our post game show. I said, you give a guy like that millions of dollars, you're going to see he's not going to be the same goalie after winning a cup. And has it become true? Very much
Yeah,
so.
but
Well,
AHL
that kind
is
of contradicts
crazy.
your point, though.
But
Yeah.
I
that
think you
contradicts
point
your
out-
point because here's the thing. Like Matthew brought up Ryan brought up the 20 game stretch. Playoffs is what, 28 games max?
It's a
like-
way smaller sample.
Like
size.
these guys could get hot. I can bring you a name up right now. Remember Anton Hudobin?
Yep.
Like that's a guy. Like
So would he have shot up your list, Matthew Hudobin, like top 15, top 12 the following?
I'd have had
season?
to. I mean, another stat that I use, or just I guess type of stat that I bring into my own rankings, is I look at complete advanced analytics as well. I'm a very analytic heavy guy, so I use that a lot, especially goals saved above expected and high danger save percentage. So I would have to.
I don't have the high
I-
danger in front of me, but there's the goal save.
No, I do this great thing. It's called watch the games. I've watched pretty much all these goalies here.
So you're primarily a eye test guy.
I
Come
believe in the
on,
eye
you
test.
Analytics speak different.
Yeah,
A
but
lot of the time
analytics.
they do.
But I hate analytics because they don't take into account the pressure of the situation, the mental part of the situation. They only do like here's the thing. Jesse Puljujärvi was the most analytic darling guy forever, and look how far that got him.
And again, the
Out of the
analytics,
league.
I think the analytics, people jump on that together, like as a herd, instead of having our own individual takes and opinions. So that's why I will always favor
I think
more the
it's-
eye test.
On the analytic thing, it's a good tool. I
Yeah.
think there are cases where it's wrong, cases where it's helpful, cases where it's right. I mean, there are certain things that, maybe you're on the fence with the eye test of a player, and then you see some analytics. Like, again, they're able to tell us some certain things. Again, it's very
Like, look at the analytics at the bottom here. Is Thompson and Stolarz the third and fourth best goalie in the NHL? I'd say no. There's the analytical stats that say they were this past season. I'm not putting them that high. They're not touching anywhere close.
Hey, and here's another thing. Ready? Not even analytics. Like, I'll go, journal, like voting for Vezina. Darcy Kemper finished third. Do any of us here think Darcy Kemper is the third best goalie in the NHL? I don't.
No.
So, I mean, I think it's very subjective.
I think using advanced analytics to an extent is smart. I mean, it doesn't take account.
no, you're 100% right.
I think Cody and I can agree on that point.
Oh,
you can use it to an extent, but I mean, I don't dislike the eye test. I think the eye test goes a long way. But if you really want to judge a goaltender, then let's look at the numbers.
Yeah,
I think that goes a long way.
But my issue is with the analytics is just, once again, it's like it's like the numbers tell the whole story. Sometimes they really don't. What's the guy going through off the ice? What's he do? Like, is he with a bad trainer? Is the goalie coach not coaching him well?
Also,
Like,
going off your point, Cody, too, some of the advanced analytics, if you look at like the expected goals on some shots, they don't track it. They don't have like the traffic in front of the net, or if a goalie's been pinned in the zone for 4 or 5 minutes straight and goal scores, strictly where the shot was taken. And I think that's a little unfair.
But with analytics, it's just like you can use them. It's 100% stupid not to use them. But I think if that is your final tool to say if a player is good or not, I think you're missing a big part of the plot.
And I think you're flawed too, and the hockey media is guilty of this, and we're going to move on here in a second. when you just use analytics for everything with goaltending, because, you know, people do these ranking shows and they're like, I have no clue about goaltending, but I'm going to do these ranking shows. And then I'm just going to go off of analytics. You're going off of nothing that you've done, nothing that you've researched, or nothing that you've put in. Why can you say you know what a right winger does in the NHL if you never played in the NHL, but you can't talk about a goalie because you never played the position? That doesn't make sense to me, Ryan. I hear that a lot with fans. It's like, put in the research and put in the work there. Like, just because you and I might have strapped the pads on a bit, Ryan, doesn't mean we know the position over everyone. So I don't understand that from the hockey media. It's very warped when they do that. And when they do these rankings, there's a lot of holes in them. And we're hoping not to have as many holes in ours.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this. Another thing on the analytic front, I think there's also the goaltending position you talk about. There's like, what is the goalie anticipating? I don't know too much about the goalie position, but goalie could be
I'll fall into the
anticipating.
same trap, though. We're doing the ranking show just like with the players. What more?
The goalie could be. I'm talking about from a technical standpoint. You know, a goalie could be.
Well, then you can yell at me on the post game show.
Okay. Goalie could be anticipating.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, a goalie could be anticipating a shot, a pass. I really don't know how the whole analytical side of things work, how they measure it. But there are a lot of good players out there that have had, you know, bad public analytics, I'll say. I know, so analytics are different privately. Well, then, okay, whatever. It doesn't really matter what we say, because either way, you could just argue whatever you want. But I thought Chris Scott brought up a good point, and then we'll move on to the tier maker. He's with David Torres on the catchers comparison. For example, the analytics don't favor Yadier Molina. But if you were to ask all the players, if you were to ask any baseball fan, and I watched baseball back then, so I know who Molina is, he's absolutely a first ballot Hall of Fame.
That's the top 5 catcher of all time.
Yeah, right? So it's like...
So just to jump in, Ryan, is that like a Curtis Joseph analogy there?
No, he's way better than Curtis Joseph was if you're comparing.
Don't you dare disrespect Yadier Molina like that.
Yeah, I was about to say
way better than Curtis Joseph?
Yes.
Oh, God. Curtis Joseph should be in the Hall of Fame now. That's why I brought him up.
No, Yadier Molina is way tiers above.
Yadier Molina has this, though.
But we've wasted enough time.
But first goalie up here.
Let's get started.
Let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start first.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start first. Just get it all the way. Put Igor to the top 3 for me, Cody.
I'm going to put the 3 guys to the top 3. I need to find them, though. Where the heck is
hold on, Cody. We got to talk here. We got to talk.
Let's just put the 2 guys here. There's 2 guys that are definite here.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a consensus agreement.
The third one, I'm a fight on, but first
we'll have a conversation on.
But the first guy here, Jacob Markstrom. I'm between elite and above average here.
Me too.
Okay, but Cody, we're not jumping ahead yet.
He's first on the thing. What do you mean jumping ahead?
I thought we were gonna go elite. I thought we were gonna go elite. Top 3 elite and top 3 then elite.
Why are we doing it like this? It's in the order.
No, we're talking top 3, and we're gonna throw names up there into the categories.
That makes no sense, but okay. For me, top 3, Bob.
I agree. I'm there with you.
Over a 3, if we're going by like Cody, your 3-year sample size is correct. Sure. I think it's really tough because I think if we're talking about body of work, I think Vasilevsky is still up. I mean, I'd have a hard time saying Vasilevsky's not top 3.
Here's the problem. The last time Vasi was truly top 3, you were still in high school.
Well, that is true. That is true. But I mean,
no. Hold on. Is Cody jumping ahead here with Vasilevsky because, you know, going off the playoffs? When you lose to the Florida Panthers in 2 years consecutively, you lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs, very good hockey team. Everyone's going to hold that critical of Vasilevsky because, Nick, his numbers
regular seasons haven't been that great. Last year was a dumpster fire.
He was a .921 save percentage.
Top 5 last year? Wait.
I'm not talking this past year. I'm talking the year before.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking this year, and also he was top 5 in the last 20 games of this season as well. And then going into the playoffs, he was elite down the stretch.
Yeah, but
if you take a look at the last 3 years, 22, 23, 60 games played, 9-15. 23, 24 played 52 games. He came in December. Or late November, early December is when he made his debut, I believe. So he played 50 games, coming in a month and a half late. He's been a horse for Tampa, 900 save percentage. Then this past year, 921. When you compare it to Sergei Bobrovsky, and it's close. So I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't. Sergei Bobrovsky this past season, he had a 906. So you compare that to the 900 last year, fine.
Nick, I think a greater number to even put with Bob is a plus 23 goals saved above expected. There's not many goalies that in the league that have that.
Well,
Vasilevsky was second with 29.2.
So if I could just finish the point here. 905 for Bobrovsky this year, 915 last year, 901 the year before. If we're going the full 3-year weighted thing,
we're not talking about part of it. That's part of it. That's not the
whole body of work. I think Andre Vasilevsky has had a very good last couple of years. I still think he's very similar to the goalie he was when Tampa was winning those cups. I also think part of the circumstances there was the team he has in front of him. Yeah. And I know everybody's going to say, "Oh, but if the team's at the other thing," well, Sergei Bobrovsky wasn't winning with the other teams in front of him. He had to wait for this iteration of the Panthers team to come through. I think I'm on the fence of either one.
Can I make an argument? Can I make an argument?
Go ahead.
No, hold on. But me and Nick are on the fence with Vasi and Bobby in 3-4. I think it's very close.
Yeah. So let me.
It's maybe this. There's little separation.
Vasi is number 3. I'll make the argument of Vasi is number 3. Number 1, his worst year in his last 3 years was when he came back from back surgery, which would expected to be why he only had a 900 that year. Secondly, Matthew was talking about goals saved above expected. I would love to know where you're getting your numbers from, because according to moneypuck.com, Bob finished with 7.2 on the year, and Vasi was at 29. Just putting that out there. Yep. And just as a comparable, Spencer Knight had a 6.9 in less games. So is it really that much Bob playing that much better, or is it the Panthers system that helped a lot too?
And I counter this to that as well. Out of the 3 seasons that I'm going by the last 3 years, Vasilevsky has the only season where he has a negative goal saved above expected. If we're going to use the analytics here,
that's
because if it's close in the regular season, this is when you use playoffs here. When it's top 3, you use playoffs here.
This year, it was not close in the regular season. It was not anywhere close in the regular season. Okay. And 2 years ago, it was also not very, or 3 years ago, it was not very close.
I have a question, and this is just a pure hypothetical. Obviously, we know Russia's not playing in the Olympics. Hypothetically, if Russia were to play, who would be the starting goalie?
The guy
I think right now it has to be Bob. It would have to be Bob right now.
Who would be the backup?
It's
Bob. Are you crazy?
Who would be the backup?
Bob.
Okay. That's a tough question.
Look what he's done in the last 3 years, man.
Bob, you're saying Bob's the starter, Matthew?
I would probably. I go Shesterkin, Bob, Vasi.
My answer to the backup question,
Bob, Vasi.
It's gonna depend on who the coach is.
That's a good point. I just think we don't have to be critical of Vasi's playoff performance, because the Panthers smoked everyone big time. Every goalie got embarrassed. It's not even close. And secondly, you're telling me we don't win any of the cups or whatever if we have Vasilevsky instead of Bob? Like, are we being serious?
Yeah, but Vasilevsky now has the health problems now with the back. Is he going to be the same here? And the workload for Tampa is
hasn't been the same. Cody, I can answer that question for you. He hasn't been the same.
First of all, no, I don't think he hasn't been the same. I don't think the roster.
Yes.
Thank you. He had a 29 goal saved.
Oh, wow. Now you guys. Wait.
He finished in second in Vezina.
So wait, I got receipts now, because these 3 fools are trying to tell me, oh, Tampa's different this year. Now they're not. I told you that before the damn series started.
I agreed with you. I said Florida.
I picked Florida in what, 5 or 6?
I picked 5 or 6 as well.
But here's the thing with Vasilevsky. When it's this close for top 3, I think playoffs weighs a bit more here. And with the last 3, Vasilevsky was god-awful in the Toronto series. He kept, let's be real here. We all watched that series. He was not good at one point. Last year, he was just meh. Because... I don't even think he was a top 3 player for him last year. Probably the first 2 games.
2 seasons ago.
Yes, 2 seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't doubt the brilliance of Bobrovsky.
And then this year,
how can Matthew be against him when, Matthew, you said you're all about analytics, and Ryan just gave you the stat yet again. He was second in goal save above expected.
Vasilevsky beat Bob in every single analytic this year.
That's elite. So, Matthew, you can't go against Vasi if you say you're all based off analytics.
One more question.
And high danger. Your favorite stat, high danger save percentage? Guess who was number 1?
Tell us.
I'm gonna load the analytics myself.
Yeah.
Should have had it before.
I'll ask
Andre Vasilevsky, 855 high danger save percentage.
I'll ask one more question here.
You know where Bob was? Wait. You know where Bob was?
In the sevens?
Oh, no.
What,
Sergei
6?
Bobrovsky, 36, 774. So yeah, in the sevens. So if we're going by your two stats you said you care about most, Matthew, I don't know how you're making the argument over Bob.
Look at the last 3 years. I'll tell you right now. I'll say it right now.
Get the last 3 years out of your head.
Look at the last. No, look at the last 3 years, and then we can talk.
Everything on the last 3 years, or Dustin Wolf wouldn't be even on this list. We're not doing that. We're following.
We just talked 10 minutes ago that the last 3 years is a good sample size. Look at Bob.
It's a good.
In the last 3 years.
It's a good sample size for the workhorses. It's not a good sample size for everyone. So,
okay.
but for me, like when it comes down to it, right now, like in my opinion, I think Bob's been better.
Okay, but let's say
right now. Let's look right now. I agree with you, Cody. Ryan, can you admit that in the last 3 years, Bob has been better than Vasilevsky?
No.
Then I can't help you.
Okay, here's what I'll say. Are we ranking the performances, or are we ranking on who I think's the better goalie?
I think Bob's the better
Who
goalie.
you want to ride with, Nick?
If I had one game to decide, I'm riding with Vasi over Bob.
One game, I'm going
gonna
Bob.
just say I'd
One
rather
game,
have
I'm going
Andre.
Bob. Just look like
I
just because
think-
of what he did in the last 3
I
years
think
as well.
Vasilevsky is more likely to carry at this point,
Yeah.
at his age, at his thing, than Sergei Bobrovsky is.
100%.
More likely. Now, it's very thin. I'm not saying Bobrovsky isn't right there.
I have Bobrovsky at 4. Like,
Here's
he's
my
on
drawback with that quote, though. My drawback is like I don't think he can carry is the back surgery for me.
That's fair.
That's because he's
fair.
had it's just more health concerns with Vasi. than
Okay,
there is
Bob has the age factor, Cody.
Yeah, but Vasi had the more major surgery.
Yeah, I don't.
Back ain't nothing to play about, especially with the goalie.
Hey, Cody, you did all the
But he
post
showed
like I
this
did
year.
this year.
He
You
showed
heard how
this year how good.
Cody and Ryan, you know, because you're not always on the Bob side. You heard how the calls were this year on Bob in the season and different things
Yeah.
like that. People want to move on from him all the time. How can you move on from a guy if you're putting him in a top 3
He
status?
didn't have a 900 save percentage until like February or March.
Last year, people had Bob 7, 8, 9, 10 coming into the
And
season.
even
I'll
this
say-
year, like,
I'll say
like
this.
Bob was great in the playoffs this year, but he was not like what Vasilevsky did when the Bolts were winning the cup.
I agree. I think with
But
Vasilevsky,
the Bolts were playing
job.
such weak competition when they won those cups.
It doesn't matter. People are acting. It was not a carry job by Bob. Bob did not steal a series completely.
I think
Oh my!
when you take
what?
a look at the
I
levels,
can't listen to this.
What?
I'm sorry,
This last
Ryan.
year-
You're on your own island here.
Okay,
I'm
I'll be
sorry.
on my
No,
own.
Ryan's not on an island. He's not on an island.
Thank you.
He didn't steal.
Do we got to remind you, fucking morons, that Bob was being compared?
I'm sorry.
That Bob was being
I'm
compared to John Sebastian Jaguar in the 23 playoffs.
Yeah, and I said this past year, Cody.
Jaguar.
Past playoffs. This past playoffs, Cody. This past playoffs.
So
And
we
if you
have
want to talk
Cody.
20, if
Like,
you want to
come
talk 20,
on, dude.
if you want to talk 2023, how did Bob's final go? If you really want
Did
to
you
talk
see who we were putting out there?
competition,
but are we comparing? Hold on, I'm going to say, we'll put it right back at you. Are we comparing teams or goalies?
I'm
Well,
comparing
the team
goalies.
does matter.
We're
But see, the
comparing
team does
goaltenders,
matter.
Nick. And
Hey,
you know
but
what?
here's
No,
To me,
the
it's
team
Cody.
does matter.
No,
Then.
here's the
You
thing.
three on your own island,
Bob's
and me,
defense
Cody, will
that
stay on
playoff
ours.
run
That's it.
was worse than what Vasi's had to put up with. Worse.
I don't
Fair.
disagree.
No,
there.
that's fair. That's fair. That's why
I don't disagree there, but you're acting like Andre Vasilevsky hasn't had to deal with some pretty, pretty bad Tampa teams.
And hold on here, Cody and Matthew are acting like you, Nick, and Ryan are putting Bob like 9th, 10th, or 11th.
Yeah, I'm putting him at
It's
4.
I don't
overreaction
think,
here.
but right now I don't think Vasi's better than him. Right now,
I don't think right now either. I don't think either.
No.
I don't think either.
But
Listen,
but three,
I'm
but
still-
three-
Well, okay, then you have a problem with all the J Fresh fans that have Bob at 4 or whatever. Then
Yes, I told you that.
I told you that off air, Kirby, that I was going to argue
Listen,
him
it is
1 or
this-
2.
It's this close, and it
No,
can-
hold on. We got to do a vote here. So Bob,
It's 3-3-2, Kirby. You not hearing this?
Yeah, you're not getting.
Let
Kirby's
Nick
not going to
speak,
change
let
his
Nick
mind.
speak.
Ryan's
Let
not going
Nick
to change his
speak.
mind. Go
then
ahead.
Let
where's
Nick
he at?
Put
And then
Put Bob
right
at elite.
here.
Put Bob at elite. It's
Let
fine.
Nick
That's
speak.
where we're at.
Well, thank you, Ryan. It's very close for me. I mean, like it's like you're splitting hairs at this point. And you know, I look at it a little different. I look at body of work, Obviously, I think the potential Vasilevsky stealing him. I'm not saying Bobrovsky hasn't been good, but guys, I remember like Cyborg Vasi. Like, I think he still has that in him. I think he is unreal. I think Bobrovsky is right there with him. I'm going to give the edge to Vasilevsky.
But here's the thing. But
he's excellent.
But this is
Because
the whole thing with
Cody Hellebuck hasn't been good in the playoffs ever.
Yeah, but he just won the freaking Hart.
Well, okay,
he's undisputedly the best player on his team.
He ain't going to be there next year, Cody. If
Hold on. What about Igor then?
Doesn't perform.
Igor's up there too. What are you talking about?
Well,
I think it would go Hellebuck, Igor, then Bob. And I don't think it, like you said though, it's very close. It's very, very close.
It's just from.
But if I'm choosing a goalie that I want in a game 7, Bob or Vasi, I'm going Bob.
Okay, we jumped ahead here. I have Igor 1. Are you guys in disagreement? And you guys have Hellebuck?
I don't have a disagreement there.
No,
I have Hellebuck.
I think they're interchangeable there. One
again, I think Hellebuck. Nick, you're the tiebreaker. Hellebuck or Shesterkin?
I'm Shesterkin.
I'm Shesterkin.
Okay,
because when you're talking about those two, you have to bring up playoffs, and Hellebuck just got shellacked back-to-back years.
And how did Igor do this playoffs?
Well, yeah, funny, Ryan. He wasn't
there. Let's see. Their team, his teammate, the team in front of him got mad. They got rid of a fourth liner.
Again, I think it's very close. I completely understand why people had Bob number 3.
I totally get it. And we're Panthers.
I get it. I don't even fully disagree. I just think Vasi still earned that right, and I think personally for me, the goalie he still is today, I think he's
Nick, I gotta ask you, what's the deciding factor for you, at least, if you haven't said it already?
Just his gut. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
That, and I also believe that when they're at their best, and they have been at their best a lot over the last couple of years, obviously circumstances arise. Again, it's not just, has he won in the playoffs? There's a lot of reasons guys, players, goalies have not won in the playoffs. Carey Price, Henrik Lundqvist, they didn't win in the playoffs. They didn't win a cup. There's a lot of reasons for that. It's not because they are just bad goalies or they didn't have it.
And Nick, if Panther fans or any fans had Bob ahead of Price or King Hendrick, I'd push back.
Their goal against average is very, very tight. Bob's is a 2.37 to Vasi's 2.90. It's not. I mean, it's close. I mean, that's not the whole story for me. As I already alluded to earlier, I think that, for me at least, speaking, I would, like I said, in a game 7, I'm going Bob.
I think
who in the NHL would you trust more in a game 7 right now?
Matthew, that's not how you're weighting.
That's not a ranking, though.
It's not a ranking, Matthew.
Because if we're doing it based off that, we're talking Bennington
overall,
here. Hellebuck's not even in the conversation, if we're going to be honest here.
Hellebuck is in his FSU Knowles trash can.
I think it's subjective.
I'm just using this statistic for Vasi and Bob.
If I could just
for these two to decide between elite and the top 3.
If I could just say one thing, the deciding factor for me would be when they're at their best, when they're absolutely locked in. I mean, so there were points last year during the regular season. I know everybody's going to say, regular season, whatever. Vasilevsky was absolutely locked in. It was unreal. Bob, high elite right there with him. But Vasilevsky, a lot of people saying about Bob Vasilevsky, he's got the hardware too. He's got the pedigree too. He's got results also. I think, and I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think in the last decade, let me actually check here real quick. Since 2015, 2016, top 2 goalies in playoff wins are Vasilevsky and Bobrovsky. Vasilevsky's at 66, Bobrovsky's at 59. So, I mean, you're talking about 2 guys that they've won right back to back with each other. That makes the comparison a lot stronger. Obviously, Vasilevsky, cross-state rival. But for me, it's when Vasilevsky's at his best, and I think with the age, the overall body of work, and the goalie I still believe he is, I think, again, it's another level. And for me, that's the separating factor. Bob was elite during the playoffs run, I think, but also there were a lot of other factors there too. Yeah,
but
Bob has peaks and valleys during the regular season. I always defend him, but I hear all the callers come in and say,
again,
let's move on from. Who's saying let's move on from Vasi? Like our fans.
You'd be surprised. I've seen a couple comments.
Well, I hear a lot in the
But
Panthers.
when it comes down to me and like the little smidgen of like, and the thing is like, and I do the 3-year rule is because, well, 3 years I think is a pretty good sample size from year to year to kind of gauge something.
I'm with you there, Cody.
And I understand Vasilevsky just had the body of work, but once again, he truly hasn't been Vasilevsky since 2021.
I think he's been pretty elite.
He's been elite, but the thing is, when you're talking top 4, I think playoffs way more.
You're judging him against himself. He's chasing a ghost. That's not fair.
I'm judging him against Bob, and Bob's been better than him the last 3 years.
You're judging Vasi against himself from 3, 4, 5 years ago. He's
And-
chasing a ghost.
And then why is he still top 3 then? If he's not that same guy you just told me.
So I
Because
guess
of all these
Bennett.
goalies
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna
So
talk about.
Because if he was that same in 2021, Vasi is the best goalie in the league today.
he's the MVP. So
Easily.
So Bennett's not the MVP anymore.
What are you
Mark
talking
John's
about?
not.
Yeah, to beef
Barkov
cat.
wasn't.
Wait,
Barkov
no.
wasn't.
Bob is the MVP in every win in every series.
I would. Marchand was the MVP.
I can't. I'm not ready to
I'm
go
not on
there
that.
that far.
Oh,
I'm not ready
Nick,
to go that
Nick,
far.
you didn't like-
Cody,
Nick,
can I ask you
no,
this?
Hold on, Nick.
Not on
Hold
that.
on, Nick. You didn't like Bob in the Toronto series. Wasn't Seth Jones better than Bob?
I didn't like Bob the first 2.5 games in the Toronto.
Wasn't Aaron
series.
Ekblad better than Bob in the Toronto series?
Well,
According
then
to Bob
again,
fans?
I don't think any
Not the-
Panther in the first 2 games was good.
And also,
Oh, you guys
and I don't
rolled
want
around
to,
Bob.
and I don't want to diminish Bob, but was he really tested in the Carolina series? Let's be for real.
No, that was
I mean,
that
come
was a total
That was
domination.
BS. He
I mean,
sat there most of the game.
Yeah,
You know what?
exactly. That's why I have Vasilevsky in front of him.
and that's why I asked you the same question. 22-20 was Vasi really tested by Carolina? Hell no, he wasn't.
No, but Cody, look,
No, he wasn't.
And Dougie
There we
Hamilton
go.
on there trying
Like,
to
listen,
There we go.
and it
Bob
could
was-
be
you know?
the deciding factor could be PTSD from when he was locked in. He had those freaking like
Like the
cyborg
960 in that series, I think, still in your head, and like that was more us not knowing how to play playoff hockey on the offensive side of the puck. But
Vasi was tested more against Carolina in that year that you just mentioned there than Bob was this past year. Against
yeah,
Carolina.
but
I'm not
23,
even dissing Bob.
Carolina threw the whole kitchen sink at Bob.
Yeah.
especially game 2. But
again.
They
I
did
think
the same with Tampa.
there's multiple
well,
factors.
let's move on. We're
Let's
already in
move on. I
agreement right
think
here.
it's very
Yeah.
close, but I give it to Vass.
Next up, now I'm gonna go in order here because it's kind of all
Perfect.
winky wonky. Jacob Markstrom, now that we have Bob here, I'm feeling him here.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because Bob is an elite. Yeah.
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 It's
I
just
agree.
with Markstrom, he
You
could
need a gap
be
here. You need a gap here.
he could be elite. Let me just say that he could be. He's right there. I liked him in the playoffs this season. I think he's been very steady ever since he's left Florida somehow. But
Okay, so you're saying at the front end of their.
at the front end of above average, at the
Okay.
teetering end of elite,
I think
I think that's a perfect spot.
We could, again, Cody. We're gonna move guys as we go along here. If you want to go in order, we're gonna move guys around. Yes. Nick.
That's fair. Yeah, I had Markstrom in elite, but the lower end of it. So
Yeah,
around with
I had him an elite until we put.
I rather put him at
Bob there.
above average, like the front end of it, and then we put him in elite.
well,
later.
if you're going to go by
Yeah.
that same logic, our next guy here, Jordan
Hold
Binnington.
on. By playoff numbers that Matthew loves here, Markstrom was top 5 playoff goalie and goal saved above expected.
you want to talk about Carolina throwing the kitchen sink at a guy?
Mhm.
He needed hazard pay because I watched that series. Like I think game 5, they had 50 some odd shots or something.
Just like our comment earlier there was from Beef Cat, Markstrom was the MVP in net for the New Jersey Devils.
And like,
really showed
and
up.
I don't know how much New Jersey would have done with they had their guys. I'm gonna put the caveat they didn't have their guys, but I don't know how much better it may have been went to 6,
Mhm.
but.
So
I
let's
think
leave him there. Let's leave Markstrom there for now.
Next up, Jordan Binnington. I'm like right here again.
Yep. I agree.
It's hairs for me. It's hairs for me.
No,
I
I
would
think-
argue.
No,
It's
Matthew,
close.
go ahead.
It's close. It's close.
Matthew, you have him higher than that.
I do. I tend to be on the portion where I think that he is elite.
For me, it's just the regular season numbers haven't been there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like we're talking like don't
Cody,
forget.
if you're going over 3-year sample size, you might have him lower than that.
I might have him lower, but 4 nations in the playoffs, so you got to factor that in. And I do
think
factor
he's
that in.
truly.
I feel like his emotions though play a big role as well. I don't think he's emotionally a sound goalie. I'm just throwing
really?
it out there.
Oh
Really?
yeah, now
That's
you
a
heard
hot
it.
take. Oh,
I think Jordan Binnington is kind of the exception. Like, okay, like he's a pretty good regular season goalie. I think he's a lead in big moments, and there are times where he drags his team and where St. Louis is at in their window, however you may look at their window. I think he's been a very good goalie for them.
Yeah.
You really want to talk about volatile? I think.
Hold on.
Yeah, he's the definition of volatile.
Hold on.
I
I'm
think
gonna jump in here.
consistency is the only reason why he won it.
This is my first guy that I think was too high on the J Fresh poll, 14th. I'm having him somewhere between 15 and 20. So for me, he's at the end of this tier or at the beginning of the mid tier.
I don't think he's mid. I think he's at least above.
I don't think he's that low.
No.
As low as what?
15. I think he's perfect where he's at on it.
No, I think last year no one had him anywhere around this level. And you talked about a 3-year sample size, Cody. What was he ranked the last 2 years?
But I think there are 2 guys ahead of him that should be ranked below him.
No, I'm having Binnington at the end of this tier or at the start of the mid tier.
Okay.
Speaking of mid, our next guy, Freddie Anderson, put that dude in mid.
Mid.
Maybe.
Mid.
I mean, I think he's so like when he was having that run in the playoffs.
It was so fluky.
Like this guy, you could put Kirby in net and he'd put up at least a 905 behind that defense who they were playing. I mean, it was a joke. I mean, when
another guy, Nick, they have at 17th. The J Fresh.
Too high.
Yeah,
way too high.
I think that's pretty good right there.
You're just going with the people.
Because I don't think
17 for Anderson. 17 for Anderson is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree with Nick and Ryan that the streak that he went on in the playoffs was
so fluky.
I mean, I wasn't afraid of him going into the playoffs, but I thought he had.
I know he's had some very tough injuries. He used to be very good with Anaheim and Toronto. I know he's had some tough injuries. I believe he's also battled some other health problems. But I also think, the reliability, I don't think it warrants enough to be anything high. Like he played 22 games this past year, 16 the year before, 33 the year before that. Hasn't played above 35 games since 21-22, our President's Trophy year. I understand the health problems and everything like that. It's unfortunately limited in what he's been able to do the last couple years.
Anderson has dropped off, but he's become I call him situation goalies, where they're as good as their situation is.
So, Cody, you would have him a tier higher. Matthew, you would be a tier higher as well. I don't know if Matthew.
I just put him right there.
So you put him in the mid.
Yeah.
I think the injury.
Cody, that's not where he's ranked. Then you're going to have him like in that 20 range, and you said you like him around 17. When you get through all these names, Cody, he's not going to be a top 15, top 17 guy at the mid level there. And I think if Matthew is all about analytics, he would look at the playoff numbers. Anderson was what was he, plus 8.6 goals above expected there?
Yeah,
Ryan?
that was a lot of that in the first 2 rounds.
So again, I think Ryan, me, and Nick are with him being mid. Maybe Matthew, Cody have him a little higher.
Okay. I might even have him a little bit lower. I just really think that Carolina. I mean, the goalies are very insulated there. And the lack of availability. I know it's due to unfortunate circumstances, but I can't. I agree with you, Kirby. I don't think.
But next up, Mackenzie Blackwood. I have him mid too.
Oh, I do not.
I have him mid.
I do not.
I have him mid there.
No, I have him above
average.
He's too low.
I have him above average.
He's too low. He's ranked.
Oh, here we go with the overrated goalies already.
Move him up. Move him up.
Why?
Put him to above average.
He is the tail end of this.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
He is the tail end of this.
I'm willing to agree with that.
I'm leaning mid.
No. Wait, can we get a vote quick? I'm all for above average.
Like everyone's above average. Have you not heard? Can you listen? Open your ears. Everyone's 4-1, dog. Next up, Logan. This is another guy. I guess you may go above average here.
Yeah.
The one thing that holds it back a little bit, I think he's below Blackwood because
I think he's below Blackwood too, but it's close.
The lack of.
They're the same goalie to me.
Yeah, but I think Thompson has not shown the capability of being the clear-cut number one guy. Like, I don't think he's ever played 50 games in a season. I think this year he almost split starts with Charlie Lindgren, and that ended up and his performance against Carolina, he gave up some weak goals. Kirby, you were very critical of his play. Ryan, I think you.
Yeah. He gave up so many weak goals against Carolina. I will say.
I called it. No one said that was a wild take.
I
They
think
would
he's.
love
I
beating
don't think
Carolina.
Logan. For me, the perfect sentence I say for Logan Thompson is that he's not going to steal a game for you, but he's not going to lose you a game.
He
but I
sure as
wouldn't
hell
put
lost
him-
him a couple games. I can't lie. to you.
No.
Right.
Washington scored like 3 goals all series.
They-
Well, I also think he's a
Prime
very
They weren't
he's a
winning.
very high end 1A, like
Yeah,
1A,
I
1B.
Well,
I think
Matt-
I think for him to succeed, I think he needs to have a backup who
I
can
just
come
want
in
to add
and
this
give.
stat. I want to add this stat, Nick. You talked about this with the 50 games played, and I'm this is going to be a theme for me here. 7 of the 10 goalies that led in goals saved above expected played 50 games or more. Logan Thompson was one of the 3 that did not.
And I think I know who the other one was. So
There's another guy that we're going to get
I think
to.
there's another one.
But
But
with-
for me,
They might match up. You know?
Logan Thompson, again, I think, Cody, we talk about situationally. I think he's been on good teams. He's a good goalie, can play around that 45. I don't doubt he can get to 50 games. I think he could stretch it a bit.
Yeah.
But I think like a team like Edmonton or Carolina is somewhere I think he'd fit.
I think Edmonton could win a cup.
I'm not going to
if they
lie
had
to you. I
Logan
don't think he does much different in Carolina, to really be
Can
honest.
I just
with
make
you.
a point
Oh,
here?
wait. Can we
No.
get-
I'm just talking about team wise. Maybe he
Yeah.
can handle more.
Okay.
Yeah. Can
Ryan,
we
you
get
might be saying
Christoph's comment on the Jumbotron?
Yeah.
Because he's saying Thompson got laid out in one of the games and he came back. That's true. People said he was going to be out for the rest of the playoffs when it first happened.
Yeah.
I think someone fell on his leg and it almost twisted backwards.
I think
And
he's
it
talking
It looked like Ryan. It looked like it snapped. almost.
Yeah,
talked
that's what I'm saying. It
about-
looked gruesome.
Yeah.
He
So,
said at
Oh
the
my
end of
God.
the regular season, he did get hurt, but he only had 42 games, so there weren't even. He wasn't going to get to like 50. For
well, I will
me,
say- no, that wasn't my point. I was saying in the playoffs,
I
that's
know.
why he was.
Yeah,
a little
but
bit-
don't get beat short side to lose the series.
and Kirby, we talked about this. I think the threshold for me that really distinguishes some guys is 50 games. I think that for me would be kind of like, okay, I'd like you to at least play 50, 55 games. You're going to be a starter. I don't want.
Get to 45 at least. Some of these. guys.
Yeah, I'm not a
I
huge
think
fan
50.
of the 1A, 1B thing, especially. I think, Cody, you've talked about you want one goal and you want to stick with them.
In the
kind of-
playoffs, you have to.
In the
You
playoffs.
can't-
And I don't think.
No, but
series.
Cody's fine with the 1A, 1B in the regular season.
In the
Yeah,
regular
but I
season,
think
but
if you're gonna
playoffs,
go
you got to have one. Got
I
to have
think
one.
You got to have a one. Like you got to have somebody you're going to go to, and you need somebody that can handle it, go through a long playoff run. Not somebody who's been splitting, 45 to 40, whatever starts in the regular
Oh,
season.
so what Matthew H said earlier about being a different type of goalie to perform in the playoffs? Oh, it was wrong. Oh,
Well, I
Matthew,
didn't
you
say it
can't
was
use
wrong,
that.
but
Oh,
who also has 2 cups?
But the fact that you're putting it 60, I think you're weighing it too much. That's
Andre
Also, Logan
Vasilevsky did
Thompson-
it too. I don't.
Logan
I told
Thompson,
Matthew off air, don't weigh the playoffs as much as he is, and he's got his own number he's throwing out there. Everyone's
going off what Nick said, I think he's a guy whose ceiling isn't super high, and I think that's what holds it back. Like I think Logan Thompson at his best is nowhere near the elite guys, so I don't think he's ever going to be better than above average.
Yeah.
But shout out to him, 26 goals saved above expected, 3rd in the league. It's on the scroll down there. So
He was second in the playoffs at 9.4, I think.
yeah, and that was with the terrible Carolina series
Yeah.
too.
And then next
Cody-
up,
Cody,
Cam Talbot.
Cody, hold on. Before we jump ahead, can we throw Markstrom in the elite right now? Do you guys
want to?
feel he's trending there? You guys?
So yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
But
That's
next
fine.
up here, I think this is a goalie I've always been kind of high on.
Yeah, I've always liked him.
I think he's in the mid tier. I think he's at the tail end, more middle tail end of it.
I think he falls in the mid because of how many other guys are ahead of him.
Yeah, but
And at this point in his career, like
You-
2 years ago, 52 games, had a 913 save percentage. Was on a pretty bad Detroit team,
Can't
played
tell
almost
by the way.
50 games, 900. I mean, he's put up actually surprisingly good numbers for a guy his age and how cheap he's been. So I think he's better than Freddie Anderson. I would move him ahead of that. But
Talbot is very mid. I agree.
yeah, but he would have been a guy that I would have liked to get as our backup before we got Tarasov because I really like Talbot.
I like Talbot in Edmonton. I would drop him below mid. That's where my vote is. But if I'm in the minority,
It's just with Talbot, I like mid because he's consistent. The only really year he had a really bad drop off was when he was with Ottawa, and they really had and they were still DJ Smith. So
just
I'm a
He's-
little between. I'm between mid and below mid, but I'm
Are
not
you?
at
Okay.
the end of mid.
because
I-
we might drop him.
I'm
there.
fine with putting him mid.
I'm not going to put him in
It's-
front of Freddie though.
No.
No, I don't think he's better than
Okay.
Freddie.
No.
Next up, Jeremy Swayman, and I'm feeling right.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, no, Cody, you're right. Cody's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, stop it.
I think
Stop
this
it.
guy gets so much hate, and it's unreal for a team that, let's be honest here, was terrible. Like, I get everybody's going to say you can't talk about the team. If the team is bad, the goalie's probably going to be bad. And it's not new when we were bad, when we didn't have the best defense. Sergei Bobrovsky wasn't too good. I mean, you need something in front of
I
him.
would argue.
They had a lot of injuries this year, and I think it was just a bad year, and it's a prime bounce back candidate. Jeremy.
I want to share some stuff on Swayman here. A rough season. A lot of the experts had him 4th or 5th. Bar Down had him somewhere around the 4 range. Jay Fresh had him 4th last year. If you guys look at his numbers from home to road splits, his numbers were way better at home this year. They were elite numbers in the 22 wins he had on home ice.
And to the chat, we can't judge everything off playoffs because we'd only be ranking like 16 goalies here. Like,
yeah, you guys are getting very spoiled as Panther fans.
Like the regular season, like,
ranking everything off of playoffs. And Swayman arguably went toe to toe with Bob. He was probably.
I would argue, Swayman showed really good numbers in the playoffs when we beat him in 6.
And Hellebuck, just the road splits were so bad.
And he was so good for
Swayman. I'm not going to put Swayman way at the front of the elite because he hasn't proven it to be a starting goalie like we talked about.
He's at the tail end of elite.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Swayman, and this is where I add to it, I think the contract situation had a lot to do with it, and I'm a big proponent of him not getting a training camp is really kind of like really hurt him. And
I agree with you on that, Cody. I think just this whole overall situation where, what we played Boston, game 1, Korpisalo started. That should have, in a normal
because he didn't have a training camp.
I know, and so I just don't think he's the type of goalie that can't go into a regular season and perform as great as he possibly can to his ceiling if he doesn't have the preseason to warm up.
But my issue,
so
Matthew,
I highly believe that.
Matthew, you seemed very hypocritical because at one point you say you care about playoffs more than anything, and Swayman has crazy good playoff numbers. Like we saw him against Toronto, literally stole that series for.
I just think for me, Ryan.
One could argue he played better than Bob.
His decline the last year, obviously some outstanding circumstances, the contract situation, Boston being, below average, which they usually aren't. For me, the decline, that's what puts me just as above average for right now. We're not looking into the future. He can have a great year next year, and I will gladly eat my words and say, put him in elite right now.
So Matthew, just to jump in, because you got to add up the math is going to have to math here at the end. You have Swayman around the 12th to 15th best goalie in the NHL. That's where you're putting him.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what he says about one guy though.
I know you're waiting for, Cody, and trust me, it's what is it? 5 away, so we'll get there.
Well, my thought is if you put Swayman on a team like Edmonton, do you think
their cup chances probably go up too?
Then maybe Swayman's back.
I think they're cup champions probably. They're probably cup champions.
But next up, Darcy Kemper, and I'm right about like front and above, like right about here.
The highest on him?
Yeah, but it's just like I can't put him in the breadth of these elite names. I can't.
I agree. I'm with you, Cody.
Exactly. I think he's on the middle to lower end of above average.
I'm not that low. I'm not that low.
I like Darcy Kemper. I just think when you compare him to other goalies around the league, there's a lot of other guys I'd rather have that I think are just better than him, and that's kind of where he slots.
Ryan, who do you have better, Kemper or Blackwood?
Ooh, I think Kemper just by slight margin, because Kemper, we saw it out the whole year. I think Blackwood, he had a really good stretch when he first came to Colorado, like elite, but he tailed off a little bit, and we didn't see his best in the playoffs. So I'd have Kemper a little bit higher, even though I think Kemper's postseason wasn't too great.
I think in a year that could be a different answer.
It could swap easily. I think those guys are neck and neck, but I'd give the slight edge to Kemper right there.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I think Blackwood, like this probably may age where this may age great. Blackwood's like a higher floor Ilya Samsonov to me, where in the playoffs he'll make all the saves that he has to.
Yeah, but he's
not. And then he won't make the big one that you need.
He's not stealing you a series at all. No, I agree with that part.
But Anyway, but next up, this is the guy I'm really.
And I just want to add on Kemper again, second best goals against last year. Only
Yeah.
behind.
Damn good year. Damn
He
good
did a
year.
very good year.
One of the first win-win trades I've seen in the NHL.
Yep.
Dubois for Kemper. I thought that was
And
win-win
they were
for both
both
sides.
huge negatives for the original team.
Philip Gustafson,
I'm
I
high
think
on him.
he's elite. In my
Elite.
book. In my
Ooh,
book.
wow. Okay.
I
At
think
least-
Wow.
Wow.
I would say top the
I
above
don't know
average.
on that.
I mean,
I'm
you
right
take a look.
here.
No, I
I'm
think he's
right at the
elite.
top above
I
average.
have him above average.
No, I think he's elite.
I
Let's-
think elite is a little bit.
Let's do what he did with Markstrom. Put him right here for now.
Okay.
Because I'm more above average because of the. Because I'm not gonna lie
He's
to
been
you.
up and down over a 3
Yeah, but here's
Yeah.
here's also why he got his coach fired 2 years ago because he couldn't make a save.
He couldn't even get in the net.
So
Yeah.
I think
but-
he's the first goalie to take that step to elite next year.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he.
I think he
He's
regressed
close.
a
He's
bit.
damn
He
close.
You
did
think
Mayor
regress a
Minnesota-
bit.
Hold on, Ryan. Ryan, you
Hold
don't
on.
think we've seen his best hockey yet?
He,
No, I don't think we have.
He almost stole the series. If Minnesota could have found a way to beat Aiden Hill, they're winning that series versus Vegas.
Well, they're also getting smoked by Edmonton, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, Gustafson stood on his head
Yeah,
in
he
that
was really
Vegas series. Was excellent. 58 games this year. I think, listen, he had a rough year 2 years ago, but I think he's a very talented goaltender. Had just a really good
Nick.
season this year, proving it. And I think he had a good playoffs. And
I
he
agree with you, Nick, but I'm just one season more away from putting him there.
Sure, I think he's elite, though. I'll
And
go.
Matthew
I
said
think-
Nick,
you're
are you
gonna
with Ryan?
regret
We haven't
Matthew?
seen his best hockey yet?
Yeah,
well,
I'd
I
like
think
to hear
there's
that.
more to see.
I
Yeah.
put if we're not going to put him in elite, I'm putting him at the top one of above average.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
for
fair.
you.
And you said he's going to
That's for
regress.
me and
Did,
Cody.
or did I mishear you?
I don't.
I think I mean it's not that he is going to regress. He had a regression year. His save percentage went down. I just if we're gonna if we as a group are gonna put him at above average, he's gonna be the top one,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
and I think we can agree with that. I
Top
think he's
one.
better than.
But we
Yeah.
got a couple guys coming up here that I can't put him above. So we'll see here. Sam Montembeault, I think this is the epitome of mid. I think when you think mid,
No. I'm
at
gonna
all.
fight Cody on this.
I think this
I want Cody.
No,
I
don't.
want him right where Gustafson is, and I'm going to explain why.
Yeah.
What?
Top five
Above
saves.
Gustafson.
Oh my
Whoa.
goodness!
I think it's around Kemper, not Gustafson.
I think it's around
Go ahead.
Kemper.
It's
Okay.
around Kemper Blackwood.
Montembeault
God.
started 62 games this year
That's
for
fair.
a playoff hockey team. I don't like Montreal, but those are the facts. Only Vasilevsky and Hellebuck played more games than Samuel Montembeault. All you Montreal fans, send Cody the message, not me, because I'm defending your goalie right now. Goals saved above expected, top 5 all season long. The last 20 games of the season, he was right in the mix there again. And again, 22 goalies that played 50 games this year. He played 60 plus. 10 goalies with 30 wins this year.
I can't
around
wait
that
to be
number.
right. I can't wait.
You make a good point. I'll say this: when you play that
I'm
many
making
games,
points. Cody's just laughing.
Hey,
I
900
don't think
save
he's that
percentage.
high,
3 straight
but I
years.
think he's right around Mackenzie Blackwood, Darcy Kemper. I think he has grown into that role. He's been in Montreal for quite a while now when they've been very bad, but he's always been a bright spot for them. He's taken the net. I mean, when Jake Allen got moved, I think, what was it, about a year and a half ago, not last year, the year before, Montembeault took over. It's been a rebuilding phase for Montreal, but I think Montembeault's grown into that as they've rebuilt and they've started to become a really good team. I think he's we played 62 games. I like him at around 53 to 55. And if you want me to be honest with you, you played 62 games and you brought your team to the playoffs, and he was excellent down the stretch last
He was
two
great.
seasons.
He was elite at the beginning of the year, elite down the stretch.
So I think he deserves to be an above average. I think he's done right around what Mackenzie Blackwood has done. I think you can even argue
argue better.
he's done a little bit more than Mackenzie Blackwood. But I think he's shown an aptitude. He can start. He can play a lot of games. He can be a horse. And he's been doing it for quite a bit. It's not like it's just an off year.
Yeah,
I
this
think,
has been a build to this.
yeah,
which
he's
I think
grown
he's
into this
exceeded
over a long stretch of time. And he's always put up pretty good numbers on a pretty bad Montreal team over the last couple of years. So I think next year, from the start, when they know they're ready to contend, when they know what they need to do, I think you're kind of seeing him pop off a bit. And I'll even make a little bit of a bold prediction here. I think he's going to start for Team Canada.
Oh, okay.
There
I
we
think
go.
he's.
I just wanna
In the
jump in,
Olympics?
just wanna jump in, Ryan, really quick. Montembeault was a top 5 goalie in the last 20 games played as well. Go ahead, Ryan.
Here,
I'd have him between Binnington and Kemper.
no, he's good right there. For me,
I agree with Ryan on that.
For me, I think I'm gonna say now. I think Montreal misses the playoffs.
I'm not.
Ooh.
I'm not there at all.
Because
Remember,
I-
Cody said
Vegas,
that.
wait, your favorite to miss the playoffs, Vegas odds. So Cody, you're on something.
Because let's be real here. There's 2 playoff teams that always make it that made it the previous year and missed it the next. I think my 2 are probably Montreal, and I'm leaning either New Jersey or Ottawa. I'm not sure yet.
New Jersey, wow. I'm not doing that with Dobson and Bolduc there. And the way that Montembeault
But the
played
thing-
last year.
But the thing is with Montembeault is I could see him regressing quite a bit. I could see him regressing quite a bit because you want to go goals saved above expected. Let's see here, because I got to pull this.
You're not telling me why you don't believe in him.
Well, because the year before,
I'm just supposed to believe you to believe you?
well, how about this? The year before, he went from 3 goals saved above expected to 25. You think that's viable?
Another goalie that you loved that used to play in Montreal, Jake Allen, he didn't have great numbers there.
I didn't. I only loved him because I thought he'd be a good backup.
Yeah.
He was a starter at one time, and he was a 1A, 1B.
And guess what? I wanted him as a backup.
Okay. Well, that's not what he is or what he has been.
He's a backup still.
Yeah, I don't.
His starter's in the elite category.
Jake Allen, also a goalie down the stretch, was one of the best in the NHL in the last 20 years.
But with Montembeault, I see regression. That's the thing. I don't see.
You're not telling me why you see it. You're just saying you don't
because
believe
you can see the substantial jump. And besides, and I believe
you can't just play 62 games in your sleep, Cody.
But I also think with 62
You didn't.
games, you could stay in a groove longer. If he
I disagree. I think he's going to jump. I mean, the save percentage has always been around 901 to 904. He's been increasing his game.
Yeah, but 901, 904 isn't above average.
Okay, but hold on.
That's
increasing.
mid.
It is above average. This year, what was it? 899 was the average.
Hold on a minute. Let me just get this point out. He's been increasing his workload. Save percentage has always been pretty steady on a very bad Montreal team, Cody. And now they have a much better team. I think from the get-go, it's a different mindset. When Montreal, I think going into last year, it's like, let's try to make the playoffs, but we don't know. Now it's we're going to make the playoffs. That's the goal. And I think that allows for a bit more success, especially early on as a team. And I think Montembeault is going to be a product of that.
Do you think that he plays 62? Do you think he can sustain 62 games?
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to do that.
He doesn't need to do that, in my opinion. Yeah. I think 50, 55, around a 9-10 save percentage. I think that he's absolutely capable.
908.
908.
I think with the team in front of him as well, I think that his save percentage is going to go up just because I trust that defense. I mean, not to get off track, but that trade they made was.
I've changed my opinion on Montembeault. I wasn't like this a couple years ago on him, but
Anyways, I think we should go to the next goalie.
He's gonna fall right back to mid.
No, you're wrong.
A guy that had a tough year.
But
I don't think it was his fault. I'm putting him here.
Yep. I thought it was gonna be a hot take.
I'd put him above Swayman.
All right,
yeah, that's where I put him.
Nick's always been high on Soros.
I think he's one of the best, most underappreciated players, goalies, whatever you want to call it, in the NHL. This guy is insane. He's unreal.
Yeah, and he's at 5'11".
I mean,
I still remember when he figured
against us.
He figured out against us.
Yeah, I was at that game. It was the 56 game season, and Soros was kind of just, I think it was right after Rene left, or it might have been Rene's last year. I don't remember. And he was kind of just, mid, right, whatever. Couldn't really figure it out. He shut us out. I remember the game. We were playing in sets of 2. And you say, sorry, I don't know if it was the first or second one. He shut us out, and then he went on a heater, and he's been elite ever since. I remember that playoff against Carolina. We had back-to-back 60-save games. This guy, I hate to say it, Nashville has kind of wasted him. I think if you get this guy out of there, this could be bold. If you got that guy on a contender, he might be in the top 3. That's
I could see it. I could totally see it.
Ryan, your guy Roberto Luongo won't believe in him though, because he wants that size.
Yeah, but I like the short.
That's an exception with Soros.
Yeah. I'd also like to. I hate bringing up Edmonton too, but if that guy's on Edmonton, people are easily calling him elite. It's not even
We're
close.
screwed. We're
Yeah.
screwed.
We're screwed. Oh my god, we are so screwed. Could you? I think they win a cup with them. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's just my analogy for when I'm
Well, but
debating
again,
what
they
a book
can
guy
win-
is.
I think they win a cup with any goalie from the Kemper up.
Yeah.
Next
But-
guy, diehard. We're gonna get to your comment here.
Pepper up. Was that a shot
Look.
at Montembeau yet again, Cody?
But Ilya Sorokin, I'm
Elite.
about here.
I would put him above, right next to Saros.
I
would
put him next to Bob.
I'll put
think-
him ahead of Saros.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
fair. I think he's a workhorse on a very bad team, and he's put up very good results. Him and Saros are very similar. Get him out of there. Get him on good teams. They very well might be pushing for top.
That is our Bob retirement. plan.
Could that be our Bob retirement?
Sorokin, I've been saying it.
But
I've
the
been
I was
saying
with
it.
you, Nick. If you're not saying I was with you first.
But-
Yeah, Kirby, I think Sorokin, people forget early on when they went to back-to-back conference finals, Varlamov was good, but so was Ilya Sorokin. And I mean, even when the Islanders have been bad, when they've been mid, bad, whatever, he's always been good. There was the numbers, the results, the eye test, everything has been good. And it just, I mean, it kind of feels like a disservice to those two goaltenders that they've been stuck on the Islanders and Predators for as long as they've had now, because they're elite.
Ryan Reeves is a shark. Nice.
Yep. So, I mean, for me, I
wouldn't mind him, just to give my 2 cents on the, it's a little off topic, but, Kirby, I know we talked about Demko or Sorokin, but now that Demko got re-signed, does that, it could close the door? I mean, if it's between them and Demko does become available, I'm taking Sorokin 9 out of 10 times over Demko. And I think we can all agree on that, maybe.
But it's really because of health.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing really on us.
Yeah, I put a little.
Demko might fit more Zito's plan
Because I remember Bubble Demko. Like, that's where he really kind of broke
Oh, that
out.
was unreal. That's what made him trade Markstrom, and Markstrom was elite then.
Linus Olmark. Matthew, where do you have this guy at?
No, just everyone let Matthew say.
Hold on, I just wanted to make sure. Okay. We are all going to put Swayman at elite, Olmark better be to the. It's gonna pain me. I mean, I want to put him to the left of Swayman, but I know we're not going to agree on that. You might
want to put him here.
Stop it.
I
Linus
want to put
Olmark,
him
hold on.
here.
Linus Olmark has never played 50 games in a season.
You know, Linus Allmark is a
You guys know
terrible
that?
playoff performer.
He's terrible in the
His,
playoffs.
God awful.
his goals against average. Wait, where do you want to put
Can
him?
we not?
Cody?
We're really
This is
using
where
goals
you
against
put him.
average.
This
We're
is
being
where you
serious.
put him. Kirby, where do you
I
want
would
him?
put.
I
would put him.
want to jump in. The J Fresh has him at 8. That's way too high.
I would put
Where do
him.
you want him, Kirby?
I'll put him to the right of.
I will put him behind Markstrom or first on the above average. What
I'm
do you
doing
guys-
Yeah, he's behind Markstrom for me.
I would even argue I'd take Gustafsson over him if we're
Hey,
being
can you
serious.
guys believe that stat? He's never played above 50 games.
He's never played over 50 games. He sucks in the playoffs. Like, sucks. If Ottawa had competency from Allmark, they easily win that series, by the way, putting that out there.
I think
And
Olmark's more consistent.
consistently bad in the playoffs. Yeah, you got that right.
All right. And next up, we're getting into FSU trash can territory.
Sam Erson, let's go.
That is the worst.
Get the
goalie
trash
I've
can,
ever
Cody.
seen. That's this year. That
Sweden
was the
zone.
worst goalie I
Sweden
saw.
zone.
Yeah, somehow he made the damn Four Nations.
Well,
Look
because
at that.
Yeah.
yes, sir.
I wish I had a
Finally,
Sweden
it
passport.
makes
I would have been
appearance.
playing goalie for them in the Four Nations thing.
Wait,
Can I just say, God bless him, but he is so freaking bad, man. I mean, he cannot make a save.
then again, it could
But
be
anytime we play the Flyers, it seems like he makes saves all of a sudden.
I mean, every Flyer goalie does. What can I say?
Dude, I saw Erskine play against the Oilers live, and holy shit, it was bad. Like,
Okay.
so awful.
He was
He
just
doesn't seem when I watch him though, he doesn't seem to be steady in net. He moves around a lot. He doesn't seem sure on his edge work. I know we're not
He
all
plays
technique.
nervous. He plays like it's his first game, and
That's what I'm saying. Like he plays like he plays like a pee-wee goalie that has butterflies. He's like moving all over the place, spazzing out. He doesn't know where to go.
Move on.
I just want to mention quickly on him as well. He was up for the Calder Trophy about halfway through that season there with Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and then he fell off
a cliff.
He has a career 888 save percentage.
Okay, next up, it's making another appearance, boys.
Oh yes, back to back. Tristan Jarry.
Wait, can I make an argument for below mid?
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead. It has to be a great argument.
Well, after he came back from his AHL minor stint, he was a lot better.
Okay.
Which one?
The most recent one, the last one.
The fact that you had to say most recent, it just proves why.
Okay.
Right there.
Wait, can I finish my point?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think his contract is the reason why people look at him worse. He's getting paid so much, so people think goalie's getting paid more and they play less. He's worse.
No.
And I think he's had decent couple seasons. I get why he's in trash can, but I would like
say this.
No,
I remember what.
Hold on. I don't look at his contract, Ryan. I look at his fundamentals.
Yes, I was watching that when we played Pittsburgh. When we played Pittsburgh, this guy's technique, and I'm not an expert on goalie technique.
It's awful.
This guy looked like, what the hell is he doing?
Well, I just think he had a really bad year.
He doesn't know. He's not sound. He's not sound.
I just say this. Go look at that Lundell goal. Go look at the Lundell goal. Fed across the ice from Osterine, and I don't know, Cody, when he gets back, he'll tell you about it. What the hell was he doing?
No, I'm not saying he's any good. I just think last year was awful. He had a FSU trash can year, but I just think what we've seen from him overall, but it's fine. Like,
but Ryan, do you like him? Because you and I talk about the fundamentals of the position often, and he hasn't ever had the top.
I like him because when I was a kid, he was an Edmonton Oil King and he won a Memorial Cup. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm biased.
I don't know. I just think
take emotions out of it.
I'm fine with him at the top of FSU trash can. That's fair.
We may move him over here soon. We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. Thank you.
Scored above average, and I
see a couple more FSU trash cans on the way.
No, that's fine. We can have a few.
The cord above average, and I think he's. See,
I think he's here.
I would move Kemper back because I really like those three guys.
I'm not moving Kemper,
but
I would move Kemper. I would do Ullmark, Gustafsson, Bennington, then Decord.
Yo, shout out to Chris Scott in the chat. I'd also take Binner over Ullmark.
I have Decord about 3, 4, 5 slots higher than you guys. I just want to get into his numbers here. I'm a huge Decord guy. Do you guys realize the save percentage between Bob and Decord over the last 2 seasons is exactly like the same for regular season? So how can you punish a guy like Joey Decord because he doesn't have the team in front?
And he played 57 games on that mid-Seattle team. Yeah. That Seattle team is so bad.
I think he should be, and I know, I like Bennington a lot, but I think he should be above Bennington. I don't think he's better than Gustafsson or Ullmark yet.
Yeah.
Maybe Ullmark. I'm not huge on Ullmark, but I think right around just below Gustafsson.
Do you guys know where the J Fresh poll had Decord?
Like 20.
In the 20s.
26.
How
way too low.
That's a prime example of if you put that guy on another team, he's talked about a heck of a lot more. And
eighth in goal saved above expected.
He's mentioned in a lot higher regard if he's on another team.
Yeah.
So this is why we're doing these rankings, because you see those public rankings out there, and I did not agree with that, Joey.
And I don't think a lot of guys remember this. When we played Seattle this year, Decord was excellent in both those games. I
do recall that.
I think Decord is a very good goalie. I think he's right around where Philip Gustafsson is. I like him better than Blackwood. I like him better than Montembeault. But I think he's closer to. I even like him.
Okay, I might have him higher, but where you guys have him there between Kemper and Montembeault?
I have him right after Gustafsson is where I put him.
I have him right there. It's just get more years under, another year, and he's probably higher for me.
UPL.
I'm below mid. I'm either mid or below mid.
I'm below mid.
Below mid.
I can agree with that. I'd say the top of below mid is where
just
UPL was ranked 17th by the J Fresh poll last year. 17th.
But the granted,
where was he this year, Kirby? I forget. I know you mentioned it earlier.
No, that's Oh, I don't know if I have.
I think 25 or
This year
26.
he
Okay.
was 25.
Okay, that's
One spot above Decord, but the thing is with UPLs, he had last year rankings was very result based because he had a really good year in 23-24. He had a really good year.
Yeah.
Like he started 51 games, 27-22 losses, but he played for Buffalo, so really don't look at that. 257 goals against, 910 save percentage, and with 5 shutouts. And then if you want goals saved above expected, like the nerds that you guys are, he had a 9.4.
Oh, wait, is the stats major calling us nerds? Come on, Cody.
I'm stats major because I want to make money. I don't give a damn about this.
Why do we have 2 Kirby's?
You have to
I don't even.
Let's
One is
remove
enough
one.
to handle.
There we go.
But
No, I'm not twins.
but the thing is like, who's the real UPL? Like, is it the year before or is it the year after? Because this year he dropped down to an 887, a 320 save percentage, 24-24 record, and then let's see here. I know none of you guys have notes on this guy.
I think we could just agree on below mid, right, guys?
Where the hell is
Yep.
he?
Yep.
He had a negative 8.6 goal saved above expected in between Vitek Vanacek and Alexei Kolosov.
But I thought Vitek Vanacek was a capable too. Never mind. We're not getting
Fine
into that.
too, and I would disagree.
Fine.
And
Anyway,
UPL, like people that had him,
Vitek Vanacek is the fine too. He is
people
a
that
fine
had UPL top
I'll
50
stand on that.
last year, like that's way too high. Even if
Joseph Wall, Kirby's guy. I know where he's going to put him. I think he's mid. but
I think he's mid right now too.
I think he's going to. I think Stolar's being there hinders the growth a bit. I think if allowed to kind of make the mistakes that a young goalie needs to make, give him more.
Actually, I'll hot take. Like you're not here. I really want to put him
be okay
here.
with that.
I
would be
have
okay
him-
with that.
I have him the end of above average. So
can
I'm
we put him next to Montembeau, please?
No,
Anyone?
I think Logan Thompson's fair for him right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Look at the goal saved above expected on the screen there.
well look,
And I think Joseph Wall got a lot of hate in that.
but look. Here's the thing. What his career high in starts is what this year with 41.
42.
That's a lot of starts.
But we'll see here. So
No, I think end of above average. Is
I think end of above average to the higher end of mid, but I do think in a year he'll be closer.
it's the same thing with Decord with me. Just like another year and I'll see.
Oh,
Okay,
So
I
you guys,
think,
so do you guys
I think
all
Wall's
agree that-
legit.
But then
You
again,
guys
I
all
need to see
agree that
Decord
he-
on a good team though.
Do you guys all agree that he's above average then?
I
He's
would, yeah.
right at the below end, close to mid. But he's
Yeah,
like,
I have him higher into that.
but I can't put him in front of like any other guys right now.
I thought we were trying to limit the above average to some other guys here. This is an interesting one I wanted to talk about. Thatcher Demko,
elite.
elite, but
Elite
the
injury
injuries,
history. Yes.
the
Yeah.
injuries
right here.
are highly concerning to me.
Yeah. We all agree.
Highly
Okay.
concerning.
I would have him ahead of Saros and Swayman,
Ooh.
but with
The injuries I can't. The injuries I can't.
Injuries.
I have him with Sorokin and one other guy.
If you want me to be honest with you, at full health, hot take, I consider putting him ahead of Bobrovsky. Like that's how good he can be.
No, I like that
That's-
case. That's a
That's a
fair case.
little. That's a little
Unreal.
insane.
Like,
Demko
he's
was up
fully
for the
healthy,
Vezina.
fully
He
healthy.
Bobrovsky.
fully healthy. I think on another level.
But luckily for us, I think there's one more guy for the elite tier.
There's
And-
one guy for the mid tier who's next. I can't stand
Yep.
this.
Mid.
Mid. Aiden
Mid.
Hill is the definition of mid. Put him
Yep.
above Anderson.
I
But-
know.
Better than Freddie. Come on, Cody.
I watched the playoffs last 2 years.
Mid.
Yeah,
Cody,
no.
he's better than Freddie. Don't make me defend Aiden Hill right now.
I'm
Don't.
go ahead
Do
defend
not
him
make me
because I'm not
defend
putting him
him.
higher.
Freddie
than
is
Freddie.
better than Freddie Anderson.
That's a
I'm
trap
going
card.
with
It's a
Freddie
trap
Anderson.
card. Don't do it.
No, Aiden Hill is as mid as it gets. I think them giving up Logan Thompson and paying him $6 million is going to be the reason Vegas is not going to be able to win a Stanley Cup if they aren't able to win a Stanley
But
Cup.
you put Freddie behind that decor, he's where freaking Blackwood is. So
No, I don't.
Aiden Hill was number 20 for the J Fresh fan poll, way too high.
Too
Yeah.
high. Too high.
He's not good. I think they're holding on to that. I think the initial contract they gave him was fine. When they doubled down on it,
That 5x5
I think it was
ridiculous.
after dark. Me, Cody, Kirby, we were talking about it. I'm like, he had never played 50 games when he signed that contract.
Ridiculous.
And he did. He put up all right numbers, but it was terrible. I don't think he was too good in the
And if you
playoffs.
want to see a pretty good sample of why we think he's meant, rewatch Game 2, Edmonton Vegas second round this year. He cost him that game.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
He
Was
let
that Connor
Darnell
Richmond?
Nurse. Yes, I really want to just put him
Darnell
like,
Nurse sniped it.
here and just call the day. I'm
Yep.
not
Hold
kidding.
on. Just to jump back on Aiden Hill, he played 50 games this year, right, Nick? And his numbers have progressively got worse with more.
Yeah, he plays worse the
Yeah.
more he plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's right around that 1A, 1B thing.
Well,
I mean,
I think he's a 1B.
he's insulated, I think, by a very good defensive structure in Vegas. And you watch him, like, I would feel, and I know we lost to him in the Cup final, so it's kind of hypocritical.
fluky.
But I think, again, it was a bit fluky, that run. He didn't even play half that playoff run. He came in for
But everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna pay him anyways." The contract that they gave him, I do not think that he's even.
I don't think
if
he's worth
he-
$6 million.
If he's NHL caliber, we got a lot of. I got a lot of thinking to do then. I don't
Aiden
think he
Hill
is.
last year was 12th ranked.
Yeah, I think
Wait,
he's
so
at
Matthew,
mid.
you'd have him below mid?
I think
No,
he's
he's
on the
fine.
fringe of above.
It's below mid. It's hairs for me. Like just similar to
I
other
think,
guys.
I think he's close to above average, but I don't think he
Can
is.
we put Talbot below mid?
I don't want
Like
to.
him with UPL, I think matches.
That's
yeah,
fair.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
No,
But I
it's not
think
about
again, if you put Talbot on Vegas, you might be pleasantly surprised.
But Dustin Wolf, this is a guy. I'm right here. Or like right here.
No, you're gonna put him below Logan Thompson.
Yeah, you can't
I'm
overreact
one of
to
these
rookie
four
year.
guys. I'm not
Look
putting
at
him
rookie
past the
Stuart
core.
Skinner. I want to see it for more years. Rookie Stuart Skinner had.
Do not
numbers
compare
too, so-
Dustin Wolf to Stewart.
I'm not putting him past the core.
I'm not doing either.
I'm like right. I really want to put him here because of the sample size.
I think. I mean, I know we're not going to talk about futures at all, but his. I mean,
He's a
Cody,
very-
next
his
year.
future will be an account.
Okay,
I mean,
you-
next year.
I-
we'll put him
I
in
have-
forward,
Hold on, I
but
want to ask
next year,
Cody a
put him up.
question. I want to ask Cody a
Next year, put
question.
him up.
Next year, Cody, where do you foresee him?
I think he's going to drop down to mid, and I explain why. I'm a huge believer in the sophomore slump. I'm a huge believer in it.
What do you think his peak is? Do you think he's going to be an elite goalie?
Yeah, I think his peak is where Bob is.
Do you like a
I wanna-
Saros?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I gotta put Wolf up near where Montembeault and Blackwood is, and that's low because he's 12th by fan.
Yeah,
poll
but the
rankings.
thing is, the
That's
thing is with me is just the 1 year sample
Yeah,
size.
I agree. I don't judge a guy.
It's like I can't really put him above. Like I can't put him past the court. I really can't.
So Nick, where would you? Okay, that's your vote, Cody. But Nick, Matthew, where would you have him?
I would put him. I'd consider above Montembeault.
Okay, I would. Matthew, what's your vote?
I'm going to put him.
And Kirby
I'll put
next
him-
year, I
I'll
think
put
he'll
him
be.
ju- I'll put him just to the maybe right of Montembeault. Yeah.
Okay, he's
I mean,
gotta go.
or man, you know what? For me, maybe after Blackwood, actually, or yeah.
I have
I'm-
him right at Montembeault. But
I'm like
for
right
the person
here.
who
with
said,
him.
wait, who said don't compare him to Stuart Skinner? Because rookie Stuart Skinner played 50 games and had a 914 save percentage. And look what happened to that guy.
But
You can see the talent difference.
Okay, I'm
It's
just
not
saying.
even.
But Wolf is better than Thompson and Blackwood,
Oh, I think so.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm
he is,
saying.
but
it's fair,
once
right at
again-
Montembeault.
and I
It's
would
just-
have Wool higher, but you guys don't.
but it's just the sample size. Like
Yeah, but I can see what Wool and Wolf have, and they've passed Spencer Knight.
give me a
Peter
second.
Mrazek.
Give me a second. Oh wait, no, I don't think he's that level actually.
Peter
I-
Mrazek.
I think he's
Trash. Oh, okay.
Well, that's fair.
fine.
I'd rather
Cody-
have him than Jarvie.
Okay, Cody, get the trash
Let
can.
me get it out.
Get the trash can.
Get the trash can. It's Alexander for goal. You do it.
Or
Right?
Giev.
Forgiev, whatever you.
You were
call it.
gonna say Forgolski.
Yes.
But-
Yeah.
But
Elvis Merzlikins
Below mid.
below.
I'm
me.
at mid. I'm
No,
at
he's been really
right
bad.
here.
Oh, I think below mid. If we want to do a voting on that, I don't mind.
Okay, but
Jake Ottinger,
wait. Before we continue any further,
Yes.
why did this change? Let's hear a word from our sponsor, Caneswear.
Panthers fever is here.
What is going on with this? This is so weird. Why they update this? Here.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? Caneswear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Caneswear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's pantherswear, WEAR.com for all your Panthers gear.
And another word from our other sponsor with Jeremy Beckham with Next Home Treasure Coast. Hey, Panther fans in South Florida need real estate help? Check out Jeremy Beckham with Next Home Treasure Coast. It's a boutique service with a personal touch. Jeremy the Seams with humans over houses, working hard for you, whether you're buying or selling. Ready to move? Hit up BeckSellsFLA.com or call 772-475-5371 now. You'll be glad you did. Shout out StreamYard for updating that. That really sucks.
Jake Ottinger.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Whoa!
right
Whoa!
there.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Whoa.
He's
right
not
after Bob, I think. Maybe maybe one after Sorokin.
This is my hot take. This is the most overrated goalie in the NHL. This guy is still riding the coattails of that playoff series versus Calgary, and everyone just assumed he was going to be elite after that series, after he got paid, and he has not lived up to it. He is not better than Sorokin.
I don't disagree
He's
with
right
that.
there with Sorokin.
I think he's right there with him. I don't think you take a look at it. He's never, like, the last 2-3 years, like, you actually take a look at the numbers. Like, he's a good goalie. He's going to help you win, one of the top elite goalies in the game. But when it comes,
these are not outstanding numbers.
there's always somebody better than him, is how I'll put it.
He got
right?
outplayed 2 years in a row in the playoffs by Stuart Skinner.
It's never good enough at certain points. I think I don't remember the last time since the Calgary thing he's truly been really, like, locked in like that.
Thank you.
But I do
So
think.
Hold on, Ryan. Would you be critical of Sorokin then if he was on a better team like Ottinger is, and then he failed? Because that could happen.
Well, I mean, if we want to bring up Sorokin, he got started over by Semyon Varlamov last postseason.
In the first round.
Patrick was an idiot, Cody.
But here's the thing: the one game he was in, he had a 776. So Wall wasn't wrong.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Like, this was,
Jeremy, what did you say about Patrick Waugh?
Wait. Who said Gustafsson got their coach fired so he's lower? Cody?
yeah.
Did Ottinger get his coach fired? Or did
No,
Kinda, actually. Kinda, he did. Kinda.
No, the board got him so fired with that dumbass decision.
I don't think. Okay, let me get this straight. I don't think Ottinger's bad at all. I think he's very, very good. I'd put him in elite still. I'd put him next to Swayman between him and Saros, but I don't think he's better than Sorokin. And
I think he's around Sorokin Saros.
I would really like if we put him to the right of Sorokin.
Let's get to Stuart Skinner.
Below mid, right?
No, mid. Mid. I think he's mid. Yeah.
Skinner?
I don't think he's better than Nathan Hill.
I think he is.
Okay, I think he gets a lot of hate, but at the end of the day, he's helped get Edmonton to 2 straight Cup finals. He's put up pretty respectable regular season numbers. They're not going to blow your socks off, but I mean, looking at it here, I mean, he's played a decent amount of games the last couple of years. 3 straight years, 50 games played. 915, 905, and then 896, but he got hot down the stretch.
Wait. He got benched for Pickard, and we're putting him in mid?
I don't think he's not as bad as
he's not a trash can, but he's below mid. Come on.
I think mid's fair.
He was below average goal saved above expected this year.
I think a different situation, and obviously he gets a lot of scrutiny because of where he plays. He's the starting goaltender. I don't think he's a starting 50, 55 game goalie, but I think he's a pretty solid, 1A, more like a 1B.
And this guy, the next guy,
and I think he's better than Aiden Hill, and I think Aiden Hill's better than Freddie Anderson. I don't know how you can say Freddie Anderson, who's played 20 games each of the last 3 years, deserves to be higher than Aiden Hill, who's won a Stanley Cup in the last 3 years.
Because Aiden Hill has just been god-awful since he raised that cup over his head. God-awful.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I'm fine. You want to have a mid, that's cool. But let's
next, it's either here or here.
I have him above average for sure.
Yeah,
Easily above
I
average.
have above average easily with Wall,
With like,
and I have him ahead of
but,
Thompson. and
but here's the
Black.
thing: if he's above average, then we got to move Wall down here.
That's fair.
No.
No.
We have too many guys there.
No,
Well,
doesn't
no,
matter.
Cody.
No.
Think about it.
No.
Think about it, Cody. We don't have every single backup, right? So we're gonna
We
have
have
more above
11
average.
guys in above average.
Yeah, but
That's
we're gonna
where
have
we're
more
at.
guys above average than below average because we don't have all the bottom feeders. They're not
I
all
think
there.
there's still
Cody wanted only 5
I-
categories. No,
look,
Wall
I
above.
still-
Who
there
has
there
Wall
is
and mid?
there is still 2
Who has
guys.
Wall? Cody, you can't just go on your own vote. Who has Wall and mid?
Look,
I don't.
I think we're going to end up moving them down.
No,
I'm okay with it, but again, I mean, I think these are guys right on the cusp of either one. Again, a lot of these guys are getting slotted to these different things, not because they're individually bad, but because just a couple of other players ahead of them are.
Yeah, but it's getting large, and I'm seeing. I think I can make an argument that two goalies I can put above Wall coming up here.
Okay, I'd like to hear him, but let's go. Askarov is mid, all right? Any debate?
Yeah,
on that?
I would.
He's mid
fine.
just because he hasn't played.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
There
fine.
we go.
That's fine.
Kachekov, right next to his damn partner.
Yep, right next to mid, right next to mid.
Cody has
There's
him higher
no
than
way. I'm sorry. I can't believe I'm defending Aiden Hill right now. There's no way, dude. There's no way you
What,
think.
do you want him here to shut up? Shut up.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And put Anderson to the back, dude. He's so
No.
bad.
Ofer, here.
Nick,
I
you
think
can't
both-
say that
Yep.
Hill and Anderson are on different levels or tiers.
No, I think they are. Recently,
Why?
Kirby,
Ofer, there.
Freddie Anderson has played 20 games each of the last 3 years.
Where's Hofer at?
Mid. The middle of mid. Perfect.
Oh, Cody.
Mhm.
Okay, respect.
No, that's fine where he is.
Yeah.
I
No,
think he's better
didn't
than
put him that high.
Lindgren is also mid, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's like. I like Lindgren though. I do like.
Yeah.
him.
I don't like Lindgren as much. Do you guys speak on that? I didn't.
Cody,
I think
Cody, you know what to do to piss off Ryan.
Don't you dare
Pick it up.
don't
Pick
you
it up.
start putting him below mid.
It's
You know what?
Bring him down. No, right.
No, he's at the top of mid. He's at the top of mid.
No, I think
don't
he's.
hear any of
You're
this.
you're
don't
on
like
you're
that
on
word,
your own
Ryan,
there,
man.
pal.
2 words,
You are on
Ryan.
your own there,
2
pal.
words. Sample size. Can't put
Yeah,
it
no, I
higher
think-
than that.
Sample size. That's
I'm
not the
actually-
only.
hold on a minute.
That's not
I'm
the only
higher on
question
Knight.
or comment.
He
I'm
played
higher
38
on Knight
games. That's
than a
not
lot
bad.
of people. I think Chicago's still got their goalie of the future. I'm still a big fan of Knight. I'd put him a little bit more to the middle of mid, maybe even
You
higher.
put Stuart Skinner
No,
above
I don't
Knight
think-
on what drugs are you on?
I don't think
I'm
that.
sorry, Ryan.
Yeah.
That's
Spencer Knight.
insane.
I'm
No,
not
I
a
think
Knight
Spencer
guy.
Knight's going to be a damn good
Look
goalie, and
at
I think
Antonio.
he's already pretty good.
Hold on, is
Someone
that
pin
Ingram
that
there?
comment.
Is that Ingram
Pin
there?
that comment.
Yeah.
Put him, is that Ingram, Cody?
Yeah. Right
Put
here.
Knight ahead of
God.
Ingram.
No, I can't. I'm
But
not
no!
gonna put-
Right next to Skinner. How's that?
You got to put him ahead of.
Do you want him here?
Skinner.
If you think he's
No, I'm
mid,
not doing
then we
it.
better change some of those below mid guys.
Put him in front of Skinner right now. That is ridiculous. That
Okay,
is the craziest
next-
thing I've ever
Next,
seen.
next
I
up.
actually can't believe this.
What
He
has
had
he
a
done?
higher
What
goal
has he
save-
shown?
Wait.
What has he shown? Please tell
He
me.
played behind, no offense, shitty Chicago and had a higher goal saved above expected per game than Bob did, and he's all top
Oh,
three
Ryan,
feedback.
are you going to apologize?
Number
for
two,
sending those
Number
first?
two, look at his last 20 games. He was top 10 in goals above expected in his last 20 games. You better put him in front of Skinner.
I
can't
think
believe
Spencer
it.
Knight. I don't hate
It's the
Spencer Knight.
craziest thing I've ever
I-
seen.
Hey,
agree.
Nick. I think Spencer
No,
Knight's
I know what you're
fine,
going to
too.
say.
He's-
Spencer
he's-
Knight's a damn good goalie. He deserves to be. I think he's better than Stuart Skinner, and I think Spencer Knight's going to be a very, very good goalie in the future.
Because if we're going against goals that saved above expected, he's not here. He's here.
Get him out of there. Yeah, no. Just put Spencer Knight in front of
What are you
Stuart
talking
Skinner.
about? Talbot had 12-point goals saved
No,
above
just
expected.
put Skinner in front. Put Knight in front of Skinner.
Cody, Kirby, I think I'm the only one that hasn't lost it on this stream tonight.
Nick's
All
been
right.
out great.
All right, next up,
Woo!
Vladar.
I'm the best
Vladar.
behaved.
Vladar, below mid.
Below
Fine.
mid. Yeah.
Samsonov, below mid.
Below mid.
Karel Vamelka,
Mid.
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 Even though I'm high on him. Jake Allen,
Mid.
mid.
No, hold on. Put Vamelka higher.
Ahead
up.
of him.
Yeah.
Way higher.
Vejmelka is
Ahead
higher.
of Skinner. Ahead of
Dude,
Skinner.
he's ahead of Skinner. All these guys are better than
I'm-
Skinner.
I'm really high on Vejmelka. Let me just point this out. I'm very high on Vejmelka.
Anton Forsberg, I think, backup. So he has to be
yeet.
He's below.
This is a
He's
guy that I think could be here somewhere in here.
above average. Don Gibson, I agree, but right now you have to put him at mid.
He's mid.
No,
Bro, he's mid.
Gibson is below Wall.
Gibson is
below
easily
Wall.
I
below
think he's
Wall.
higher than Wall.
No,
honestly.
no. Gibson has not been good in like 4 or 5 years, dog, for being honest.
Ryan's crashing out right now.
Dude, I actually can't believe this. Is
Evan
actually crazy.
Lankinen, very underrated. I remember watching him. I
I'll
think
abstain. I'll
his
abstain.
rookie year for Chicago,
I
eventually
actually can't believe this.
he became the starter.
Just
I think Lankinen is very good, very underrated. I think he's a good 1A, 1B on some in certain situations. I think, and you're gonna hate me, Cody. I think he's better than Freddie Anderson. I
Ooh.
trust him more than Lankinen.
that's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a little.
I just want to point
No, I
out,
agree.
John,
I agree.
because you guys idiots want to keep bringing up goals saved above. I just want to point out Gibson, 15.9 goals saved above expected in like 20 something games. Just want to say that. So you saying he hasn't been good in 3 years? Watch the Ducks, maybe, and you'll see.
And
I
Stolarz.
can't believe you said watch the Ducks.
This
we
guy
gotta take the best for last.
is here.
Okay, let's get
Yep.
into Stolar's talk.
Is this our last guy? I mean, I'll let you guys.
Once again,
I want to
it's
listen to the
just-
arguments.
Wait. Gibson
Against.
played 29 games,
Against
and look
this
at
person.
Gibson's last 2 years before that when he played 40-plus games. 888 and 899.
I have a
But
problem.
what team is he playing on?
Well, you said watch the Ducks. I'm giving you stats on the Ducks. I don't know what you want me
You,
to do.
you don't watch him. No.
I have a problem with Stolar's lack of games
He's
played.
played 34 games now.
I think that's
34.
backup numbers, but
Backup.
you know,
But all the other stats aren't backup stats.
all the
not
other
putting him at
stats
a
are
wall.
very
Not
good,
putting
so
him
it
at a wall.
washes out a bit. But I don't. Yeah, I mean,
Who
I
are you
don't.
going to take, Nick, on your team? Wall or Stolarz? You got to ride with the goalie tomorrow. Who you taking?
I
Goalie
think-
the goalie.
I think Wool has a
And
higher.
they're both the same age.
I think
No, they're-
Wool has. So how old are they?
Both
wait.
of them are 25.
What are you talking about?
Well, Joseph Wall, because
Because here's the thing: if you are going to say who would you rather,
I'm always going
Stolarz
to take the
or
goalie
Wall,
with the higher ceiling.
You're going to say Wall because of the higher ceiling because he's a younger goalie. But if
Yeah.
they were both the same age, you would probably end up taking Stolarz.
But they're not.
I'm
What was
taking
Anthony
Wall.
Stolarz doing at
No.
25 years
No.
old?
No.
he was in the AHL.
What was Anthony Stolarz doing at 25?
Yeah,
Let's
Wall
see.
has a pedigree, Cody. For a guy that was so high on Spencer Knight, I don't know how you can discount that from Wolf and Wall.
Let's see here.
They're part of the U.S. development program.
Dude, I still can't get over how he put a goalie who went toe-to-toe with Prime Vasilevsky behind Stuart Skinner. I just want to put that out there. I think that's the craziest thing
With
of all
prime,
time.
it was 2 games.
That's- I love it, Ryan.
It was 2 games, and COVID was still a fearful thing.
Crazy, man. Wow.
I think Stolarz is currently better than Wool.
Hell, Fitzpatrick was still a Dolphin then.
I think Antonio. I
Good
think
memory.
Stolarz is currently better than Wool, but I think Stolarz again has been very overrated. He's played 34 games. I mean, guys,
Yeah.
he's never been a full-fledged starter.
But
He got injured. He can't handle. His body's not used to
Again,
it.
like
I just want to
I
point out,
can't-
Big C's appreciate it.
if you take a look, I mean, Stolarz is better than Wool for now. That's how I'll put it.
That's what.
This has been too
I
long.
debate, why did Wall play more games, Nick?
Because Stolarz had a loose body in his knee.
Can't stay healthy.
And
when you're in
playoffs
that
got
game.
hurt again.
Well, I don't know how the hell he got hurt in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie.
And again, I think you learn. Now I do want to
Stolarz is
ask.
one of those guys that had the goal saved above expected that Matthew loves so much, Nick. But he was one of the 3 out of the 10.
No. Matthew does
Above.
not love this stat. Matthew loves whatever stats proves his opinion. Because
Yes.
when we were talking Vasi Bob, he didn't want to hear any of that stuff. The high
Add in
games
the
and
comment
percentage
section
didn't want to
after,
hear.
is Matthew a Mr. Analytics guy or not? Add in the comment section after.
Wait. Oh, Jake Allen was 9th. Sweet. Nice job, Jake.
I was trying to tell you that. But I didn't count him, Cody, because he had to play more than 32 games on the one.
Yeah, but if you stretch it to 11, like the top 11 goalies, Wall didn't play 50 games either.
So how many of these these goalies, do you really think, okay, legit, like next year you need to put let's say they all have a very similar team, right? Who do you trust to go on a run and win you a cup?
One goalie from all these lists?
How many? So let's count. I think Igor, Hellebuck,
I think oh man.
Where's the cutoff for you?
Jesus. Probably Swayman.
You don't think you can win a cup with Jacob Markstrom or Gustafsson?
The Gustafsson, the inconsistency kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Demko, it's just health.
That's fair.
Markstrom, he's never really been on an extended playoff run before.
Wait, didn't he have one with Vancouver second
So
round?
I want to go through some of these
He
guys.
was second round with Calgary, but they lost to
I
Edmonton.
want to go through some of these guys before we wrap up. I'll just ask this. Can you currently win a cup with Darcy Kemper?
No.
Okay.
No.
Can you currently win a cup with Joey Decord? I say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you currently win a cup with Sam Montembeau?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
Maybe not.
Can you currently win a cup in the next year with Dustin Wolf?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Did you currently
enough
win a cup with Mackenzie Blackwood?
No.
No.
Well, a lot of people did have Colorado winning the cup.
I
this year.
think
They
if
were the
Colorado
third
gets
team.
on a deep run and
Yeah,
they run.
I can lean there. Yeah.
Okay. Logan Thompson.
No.
Quite.
Lucas Dostal.
Yes.
No.
Anthony Stolars.
No.
No.
Yes.
Joseph Wall, right?
No.
As
Yes.
for
Yes.
next
No.
for next year.
Next season,
No. No.
Okay.
Years down the line. Years down the line.
John
man.
Gibson.
No.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for the people. I don't think there's anyone in mid or below that.
I think
anyone
you
can see
can
it.
with John Gibson.
Damn, that's a
the-
tough.
No.
I think you can. Oh, there's a chance if he stays healthy, you can.
with John.
But I'm
Gibson
gonna lean no because I said no to Demko.
in
So I think-
2025. It'll be 2026, and we're talking about John Gibson.
We'll see. He's in division now, so we'll see.
All right, I can't wait. I hope we can play Detroit.
Low-key, he kind of he's killed us. In
I
when
think
he's with the
Knight's a
Ducks.
cup-winning goalie, just not
Breeze!
next year.
Antonio, you're the GOAT, man. Put
Next
more
year.
respect on Antonio's
The
name.
thing with guys, so I think a lot of these
But
guys.
Antonio's biased too. Remember, there was a couple streams ago where he said, "Oh, I still think the Blackhawks won the Jones trade." Out of here, no.
You were talking about win-win trades earlier. That's another huge win-win trade, I would say.
Well, we'll see with Knight. We've won. They haven't won yet.
Well, no. Even without Knight, they got a first-round pick, and the contract was just
Okay,
screwed them
congratulations. They got what 31st,
over.
32nd.
No, but
Cody, you
the
were kinda
contract
high
in
on
Seth
Knight
Jones,
around the
he was not playing for
I
them. He
was.
screwing them
You
over.
didn't love Jones, Cody.
I didn't.
He's great on the
because-
Panthers. I'm not
Because I
arguing
wanted
that.
to keep a first to go after Dobson in the offseason. That's what I wanted at the time.
So to wrap this up, I think, my opinion, you could win a cup depending on certain situations with these guys and how old they are. They can grow into that. So I think guys like Decord, Blackwood.
I put Joe Stahl there. You guys don't, though.
Next
Decord and
year,
Blackwood.
no.
Decord and Blackwood. It depends on the situation. Dostal, Hofer, Knight.
Dostal and just to jump in, Dostal and Wall are ahead of where Hofer is right now.
Yeah, Dostal, Hofer, Wolf, Knight. I think eventually, if not very soon, depending on
But
where they're
if
at.
we're saying
I
next
think
year,
10. Not next year, but eventually, yes.
eventually,
But who's gonna keep? Okay, who's gonna keep the Flames out of a first overall pick? Dustin Wolf.
he could also.
I'm not saying he's going to win a cup with the Flames, Kirby. That's not what I'm saying. But
I'm just
Yeah, but
saying,
you're
I
that
hear a
win-
community bet about Dustin Wolf between Kirby and Cody. Someone should draw something up.
and
What-
Anthony
what's the bet?
Stolars, I don't.
You look Bruin.
I like
Ant-
Stolars. That's
Anthony
one of my
Stolars,
guys.
I'm
I've been
sorry.
a Stolars stan.
I don't know how we just all. And I
You didn't make a
understand.
great. Yeah, Matthew, you never made a case for Stoll.
I respect everybody's opinion. I just don't see how we could just look over the fact that he's never even played 40 games in a season, really.
And he plays in a big market. If you're talking Stolars, where he's just going to get overinflated and overrated. Montembeau proved it this year.
What other world do we say? Okay, let's look at this: 16, 7-2, 925, 203. 21, 8-3, 926, 214. Excellent. But 24 games played and then 33 games started, excuse me. I don't.
Stolars didn't play the most games on his team this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But who got the starts when it mattered?
Yeah, Stolarz is a career backup. I think his ceiling's a high-end 1B guy.
Thank you, Lulu.
I think, and again, can you win a cup with that?
I think
don't
Stolarz
know.
is past career backup.
Yeah, I
He's a
think
1A, 1B.
Like
think-
career backup
I
is
think
like
he's a 1A,
David-
1B. That's what I think he
Yeah,
is.
like career backup to me is like Scott Clemenson. I'm gonna use a guy from Kirby's era, Dave Abisher,
Al Montoya.
Al Montoya.
You say Kirby's era. I think you're gonna pull out a Bernie Parent.
Give me a break.
Like
All right.
you want to throw another name, Mark Fitzpatrick.
Anyways, gentlemen, this was just so much fun.
The D is gonna be so much worse now.
Kirby,
because-
Oh, yeah.
I was the best behaved today, so that's
Oh, okay.
my highlight.
Oh, you brought your A game here today, Nick.
I appreciate
Did
it.
he? He did. I thought. Listen, Nick.
That's
Good
an
analysis.
You
S.
guys are all yelling at each other.
Yeah. Nick, put yourself in that top 3. That'll settle the beef.
Yeah, let's take that off the screen.
Cody, I don't know if you have the Eric Poole handy, but if anyone wants to enter in that contest, it's episode 55 of the podcast. A lot
The
of people
Jason
aren't following
Demers episode.
A lot of people aren't following the rules there, Nick. You gotta give the handle where we can enter you, less like Diehard and 1 or 2 other people. We got a lot of comments.
Oh, also, you have to be off private when you subscribe, because if you're not, we don't know.
And let's be real. Who's private on YouTube?
No, it's
Kirby,
a
that's
setting
up
you
to you.
automatically
That's up
turns
to you.
on, I believe. It's automatic on. So just
Automatic.
make sure you check
Like,
the setting.
come on.
Also,
like-
in the comments, guys, please let everyone know that Spencer Knight is better than Stuart Skinner. Just leave a comment down below to make me feel like
Now I need to see a Blackhawks Oilers series because I don't know. Because at least with Stuart Skinner, like in back-to-back,
Wait. You best believe I'm wearing a Spencer Knight jersey in downtown Edmonton if they play the Oilers in the playoffs ever.
I can see that from Ryan.
That's your boy. Listen, that's Ryan's boy. He'll
Yeah.
stand by it. I
Thank you, Lulu. Thank you.
just don't think that he is.
I'm sorry, he's played 30 games in 2 years. I can't do it.
Don't care.
Nope. I'm with you there, Cody.
I will say, Ryan. I think Cody's following a little bit of the current rankings on
Yeah.
night. It was higher.
Thank you, Caesar. I got 2 people on my side. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for
well, Nick wants to
listening.
go home.
We are going to have a great summer here, back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. So we're going to be talking all around the NHL. Kirby, what's next? Forwards?
Defense.
Defense. We're going to be talking defense next. We're going to have a different panel. Thank you to Ryan and Matthew for joining us. Ryan,
Thanks for the invite.
Ryan, where can they find you if you want to even do that?
Twitter, my at's there, and Instagram, Ryan.C10, RAIAN.C10 if you want. I'm pretty active there too. So
Sounds good. Matthew, where can everybody find you?
They can find me on Twitter X at my first name and then my last name, HERZ6. I'm very active there. I post a lot of Panthers breaking news and pretty much all around the NHL stuff. So just give me a follow and I'll see you there.
Gentlemen, part of the goalie union.
Yes.
Well,
I think I'm the
Goalie
only
union
one.
members, stand up. Stand up.
I think I'm the only person here that's not part of the goalie union.
There he is. Stand up.
Goalie union, FSU trash can.
Well, we appreciate your time, Cody.
Don't get beat short side, goalies. Come on.
Cody was yelling at us a little much today, but
Yeah, because
No Bob slander, guys. Remember that.
no, Bob.
That goes for you, Nick. You didn't have that good of a
All right, Matthew.
second round.
But
Anyways.
but speaking of breaking news, as we sign off, Mackie Samoskevich signing 1 year, $775. Don't know how the hell it's that low, but we got him for that low.
No leverage.
We'll get into that later.
What leverage? Shoot, like
No, he had no leverage. He
No
couldn't
leverage.
sign an offer sheet, and
Couldn't go to
the
arbitration.
qualifying offer was around that. So he just, I guess.
To all the fans that thought he was getting 2.5.
In the back of the mind, just to throw this out there, maybe Zito had a talk with his agent and said, we don't have the cap space. We know he's going to be part of our future. We got to wait a year. He's going to be waiting in the wings. He'll continue to develop with our strength and conditioning guys. We'll give him a larger contract next year. All will be all right.
So, and Elliot Friedman, on his, I think, 32 thoughts. Let me just get it up here. Yeah, there's a lot of assumption Evan Rodriguez is going to get dealt, but he was told not to assume anything. That could mean Matthew Tkachuk could be going back on LTIR because he needs
Do you-
surgery potentially.
Nick, do you think he could miss a whole year?
Hell no.
Yeah, if we're gonna do the LTIR thing, let's do it this year because we don't got any more shots after
I hate to
this.
break it to you guys. Matthew Tkachuk ain't missing the Olympics.
No
he's not.
chance.
That's the only reason.
And
he's got a better chance winning a
So
Stanley.
deal Erod at the deadline.
Yes.
and
He's
I,
at the deadline.
no, get rid of him now. Where his value's higher. And here's the thing.
Erod?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd agree.
and
I
you
agree.
get rid of
Just
Erod
stick
and
around now.
Boquist, and you want to know why? Get ammo for the deadline because you can't accrue cap space if we are over the cap and using LTIR. We can't do it.
And
we have to
can
be
win.
under.
And we can win without Matthew Tkachuk. Like,
Accrue the cap space, get about $3 million in cap space for the deadline, and then you can acquire
Yeah,
somebody.
I'd like to, Nick. We can win in the regular season without.
yeah, we can win in the regular season without Tkachuk. I'm not worried about that.
I would
So,
like second in the division, maybe home ice, maybe one time this time. But
you know what I'd
anyway.
like? I'd like it to end the same way it is the last.
Oh, of course, always. But anyway, but but as we sign off here, we do. If you are free tomorrow night, feel free to tune in to me and Kirby hosting a trivia night tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. I'm pretty sure it is as of right now.
Yep.
The two guys right here at the bottom, the guy with the blurry background and Tua and Luongo, are contestants, I believe, for tomorrow night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now we're one.
I've actually won a trivia
Let's
championship.
have a great
He
time.
hasn't won a
I wish I
round,
could be
so
I don't think he's
I've
won a-
lost. I think I've lost in every first round I've played.
couldn't be me. Never lost.
What's the capital of Canada?
Ottawa.
Not
Hey,
Edmonton.
who's the coach before Paul Maurice?
Dude, I couldn't believe that. That just my head was somewhere else.
So much for a Panthers insider. Can't even remember our interim coach.
There we go.
I am an
But-
insider.
Whatever.
And then
Anyways,
also
you guys.
shout out to Big C's every Sunday or when we can. We're going to do the community hangouts. We have some special guests lined up for those.
But anyway, signing off here. Thanks for everyone for joining us. And as always, let's go, Cats.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go, Cats.